The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up.
Good morning. Labor unrest in the country. The airport hit by what's being called an illegal strike. Long lines at LPIA. Passengers missing flights. Bus drivers want a fare increase, and they too refusing to work. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. 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 Wake up, wake up.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Tuesday, July 19th, 2022. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Don Sargent will be joining us. Also this morning, we'll be talking with disability advocates, disability awareness advocates. We've got some exciting things going on for the community, and we're going to get all the details about that this morning. And later, we in Morning Blend Business will be talking with the Central Bank. They, too, have some exciting initiatives. We'll get into that later. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, operations at Lynden Pindling International Airport slowing to a crawl, resulting in great frustration among passengers as members of the Bahamas Public Service Union staging industrial action over the government's failure to conclude an industrial agreement and provide money union officials say is owed. Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper, who has cabinet responsibility for tourism and aviation, vowed that the government will not be strong-armed by the union. About 90% of the 200-plus BPSU members at LPIA, including non-management staff like firefighters, security, and screening staff, plus 107 employees at 17 airports around the Family Islands, did not report to work, we're told. And that's according to Director of Labor, Robert Farquharson. Around 2 p.m., hundreds of passengers were on long lines in the International Departures Terminal, with many of them expressing frustration and worries that they would miss their flights. At the end of the evening, Managing Director of the Bahamas Airport Authority, Peter Rutherford, reporting that there were some late afternoon flights that were affected, and that caused an above-average number of customers to miss their flights. Rutherford said about 4,900 passengers passed through LPIA yesterday. Earlier in the day, Minister of Labor Keith Bell said the action taken at the airports was illegal. Bell said that on July 27, 2020, then Minister of Labor Dion Fowkes issued a strike certificate to the BPSU for its members employed at the Airport Authority. He advised that on February 27, 2021, Fowkes, in accordance with Section 76 of the Industrial Relations Act, referred the dispute to the Bahamas Industrial Tribunal. But Cooper, who was at LPIA yesterday, reiterated that the referral of the matter to the tribunal meant that the industrial action should cease. He said they are not going to take this lying down. Farquharson, the director of labor, said since September 2021, the government has paid $851,000 in money owed to BPSU members at the BAA, the airport authority, primarily those who are employed on the Family Islands. You can read more about how passengers were affected by the action yesterday in today's Nassau Guardian. That wasn't the only industrial action yesterday. Bahamas Unified Bus Drivers Union General Secretary Corvell Colebrook saying that bus drivers are hurting, in pain, and working at a loss, and they want to meet with Prime Minister Philip Davis to discuss a fare increase. Colebrook says the union, which held a demonstration at R.M. Bailey Park yesterday, does not wish to speak with Minister of Transport and Housing JoBeth Colby Davis anymore, noting that discussions with her have not yielded positive results for the union. Bahamas Christian Council President Delton Fernander calling on the government to consult with church leaders and other community leaders on the suite of new bills it intends to advance in the coming months. Fernander pointing to promised bills that deal with citizenship issues and the cannabis bill. And a man accused of sexually molesting his 14-year-old sister has been charged with incest again. Police arrested the 20-year-old man, who cannot be named for legal reasons, immediately after prosecutors discontinued an incest case against him last week. However, the man was charged with incest on the same facts. Prosecutors alleged that he had unlawful sexual intercourse with his sister on June 29, 2019. He was not required to enter a plea to the charge when he appeared before Magistrate Cara Turnquest DeVoe. Prosecutors intend to fast-track his case to the Supreme Court with the presentation of a voluntary bill of indictment on July 25th. And a man on bail for murder and armed robbery, given the option of spending 6 months in prison or paying an $800 fine. 24-year-old Chadwick Capron pleaded guilty to violating conditions of bail and his arraignment before Assistant Chief Magistrate Subasola Swain. Prosecutors said that Capron failed to charge his electronic monitoring device in May and June of 2022. According to the docket, Capron was being monitored for an armed robbery charge. However, in court, he said he was also on bail for murder. Capron, who did not have a lawyer, told Swain that following his release from prison, he moved in with his mother and her companion. According to him, his mother and her boyfriend got into a dispute, and he intervened. He said the boyfriend gave his mother an ultimatum to choose him or her son. Capron said he left the residence so his mother would have somewhere to stay, and his friend allowed him to stay in his car. At first, Capron claimed he misplaced his device, but he later said he found it in another car. Overseas, Russian President Vladimir Putin's visit to Iran starting today is intended to deepen ties with regional heavyweights as part of Moscow's challenge to the United States and Europe amid its grinding campaign in Ukraine. In only his second trip abroad since Russian tanks rolled into its neighbor in February, Putin is scheduled to hold talks with Iran's President Ibrahim Raisi and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan about the pressing issues of the region, including the conflict in Syria and a UN-backed proposal to resume exports of Ukrainian grain to ease the global food crisis. As the West heaps sanctions on Russia and the costly campaign drags on, Putin is seeking to bolster ties with Tehran, a fellow target of severe U.S. sanctions and a potential military and trade partner. In recent weeks, Russian officials visited an airfield in central Iran at least twice to review Tehran's weapons-capable drones for possible use in Ukraine. That's according to White House officials. And a day after Sri Lanka's president fled, many are hoping to have business as usual in Colombo, the country's capital. But that is proving difficult. Bankruptcy has forced the island nation's government to a near standstill. Its once beloved and now reviled former president fled to Singapore before resigning last week. The acting president and prime minister is seen as his proxy and opposed by angry crowds. Parliament is expected to elect a new president Wednesday, paving the way for fresh government. But but it is unclear if that's enough to fix a shattered economy and placate a furious nation of 22 million that has grown disillusioned with politicians of all stripes. The political ruckus has deepened worries that solutions to the crisis, including a crucial assistance from the International Monetary Fund, may be delayed. And in sports, just two Bahamians in action on day 4 of the 18th World Athletics Outdoor Championships going on in Eugene, Oregon. Both competing on the track in the same event after false starting in the semifinals of the women's 100 meters the day before. Tania Gaither advancing out of the opening round heats of the women's 200 meters. Anthony Strachan, though, suffered a disheartening injury. Gaither was third in her heat to grab one of 3 automatic qualifying spots for the semis, which are set for this evening at Hayward Field. Gaither was timed in at 22.61 seconds, finishing behind American Tamara Clark and Dina Asher-Smith of Great Britain. Gaither has the 13th fastest time going into the semifinals this evening. She'll run out of lane 8 in the first of 3 semifinal heats today. Just the top 2 in each heat, and the next two fastest times will advance to Thursday's final. As for Strachan, though, she had the lead in her opening round heat coming off the curve, but appeared to pull up with a leg injury on the straightaway and hobbled to the finish. She managed to finish the race, but was out of contention for one of the top 3 spots and a qualifying spot for the finals. We hope she's okay. Major League Baseball, a back injury is keeping Miami Marlins infielder Jazz Chisholm Jr. out of the All-Star game tonight, but the Bahamian is in Los Angeles as part of the festivities surrounding the event and is lending support to his National League teammates. The league's 92nd All-Star Classic, otherwise known as the Midsummer Classic, is set for tonight at Dodger Stadium in L.A. The best players in the American League and National League are set to face off for bragging rights for the respective league. You can watch that tonight on Fox. The 24-year-old Chisholm, who was having a breakout year in the majors, was voted in as the starting second baseman for the National League, outdueling Ozzie Albies of the Atlanta Braves in the final tally to secure his first All-Star appearance. Chisholm obtained 59% of the votes compared to 41% for Albies. But again, won't be able to take part because of that injury. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. In your weather for today, we are finally expecting a drier weather pattern, much drier than what we've been seeing so far, drier than usual even for the summer. That's going to remain in place today as the Atlantic Ridge, along with the lingering layer of Saharan dust, will suppress much of the rainfall across the country through tonight. Beachgoers, especially in the central and southeast Bahamas, should exercise caution due to the risk of rip currents along eastern shorelines. And everybody's being advised to remain hydrated and limit outdoor activities during peak afternoon hours, as heat indices are expected to park themselves in the triple digits again today. For all areas, look for mostly sunny, hot, hazy, and breezy conditions with a few light showers possible, turning fair and warm tonight. Small craft caution remains in effect for the central and southeast Bahamas. Winds east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots in the northwestern islands, becoming easterly at 15 to 20 knots in the central and southeast Bahamas. Seas 2 to 4 feet near shore, but building 4 to 6 feet offshore. Temperatures right now, 81 degrees under fair skies in Nassau. Look for highs getting up to around 90 Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius. That heat index near 102 Fahrenheit, 39 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 79 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook and a look at the tropics coming up after traffic in just a bit.
Wake up, it's a new day.
You're listening to Morning Blend. When we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on your home for fresh news and smart talk all day. Guardian Radio 96.9.
You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Did you know that it's not necessary to renew your NIB Smart Card when the date on the card has expired? That's right. Renewal is not required for children ages 0 to 15 or adults ages 16 to 59 years old. Persons who may apply to renew their NIB card include seniors turning 60 years old, children turning 16 years old, persons whose cards have been lost, damaged, or stolen, first-time Bahamian and permanent resident adults. Non-Bahamians may apply and will be issued a verification letter. For more information on NIB Smart Card renewal, go to nib-bahamas.com or visit our Facebook and Instagram pages today. This message is sponsored by the National Insurance Board.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
At Esso, we're thankful for you. So we're giving away thousands of dollars in free fuel. Just fuel up with any amount at any Esso service station, and you could be randomly selected to win a $50 fuel voucher. There will be over 100 lucky winners every week. It's that simple. Fuel up with any amount at any Esso service station for your chance to win. Special conditions apply. Visit facebook.com/Salt Petroleum Bahamas for more details. Promotion ends July 22nd, 2022. The Esso brand is a trademark of ExxonMobil Corporation and is used under license.
Wise Guy Entertainment and the Beam Agency in association with Tropical Gyros presents the 15th annual Laugh Fest. Laugh now, cry later. Live at Fusion Superplex. Starring your headliner, fresh off tour with D.L. Hughley and backed by popular man, Bodacious. Get ready for your feature comedian, Cisco Duran.
I'll tell you right now, that's what fat people do, okay? Fat people look at other fat people and we judge each other, all right? I saw the way you looked at me when I got on stage. Like, you looked at me, it was like, oh my God. Hey, baby, I'm not that fat, right? Jesus Christ.
And get ready for some of the 242's funniest comedians, Das Quay, BJ, and Shad Fur. All hosted by the Bahamian King of Comedy, Naughty. 2 big shows. Friday, July 29th and Saturday, July 30th at Fusion Superplex. General admission, $40. Limited VIP, $60. Tickets go on sale Monday, July 18th at Fusion Superplex. Laugh Fest 2022, brought to you by the Platinum sponsors, Fine Threads, John Shoes, and KFC Nassau.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of the new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for your smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. You can also text us on the Guardian Radio text line, powered by BTC, 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Join me now, Don Sargent. Don, good morning.
Morning, Dwight.
Good to have you with us. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, trying to stay out of this heat. I think I heard you earlier say that we're going to be experiencing almost triple digits today.
Well, the heat index, I think it's been like that all month. And
yeah, I wouldn't just say, well, sure. I was going to say with the actual road temperatures, if you're on the road or next to concrete, is usually in the 200 degrees range.
250. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. It definitely feels like you're cooking.
Absolutely. You could fry a few eggs. Definitely. But anyway, so stay out of the sun. Try to stay cool, everybody. And apparently, no matter how bad it's going to get out there today, we are doing better than most of the world. The heat wave all over, and people are actually dying. So keep that in mind while you sweat everything off today. Coming up this morning, we've got a lot to get to. In our 8 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking about some exciting things happening for the disabled, for people with disabilities in the community. There's some things going on. And we'll get an update on that this morning. And then in our 9 o'clock hour, we're talking with the Central Bank. They've got some exciting things happening, and they'll tell us about that as well. But right now, let's begin with what's happening in the news. And in the news, lots of labor unrest to talk about this morning, in fact, causing chaotic scenes in some parts, including the airport. The government is saying it's an illegal strike, but the union's been warning about this for weeks now, just last week. In fact, we said it just on the show that to prepare ourselves right in the middle of the summer travel season for some possibly, and it came to pass, challenging days, and they began yesterday. Long lines at LPIA, passengers saying they missed their flights. The government saying they're going to be strong-armed by the union. The union says they've waited long enough for these matters to be addressed, even taking a strike vote a few years ago now, and so people knew this was coming, and we got to this point. Plus, bus drivers taking industrial action as well, refusing to drive, parking their buses. We'll get to that in a bit. But let's begin with what happened at the airport and what's going on. For more on this, take a listen to this report from our media partners at Our News and Berthany McDermott.
Issue quickly intensifying as LPIA saw long lines at the international departure section. The actions of those union members giving the government no other choice but to call for backup. Despite this unrest, government is standing firm.
We're not going to be strong-armed. We're going to be deliberate.
Hundreds of airport employees across the Bahamas staging a sick-out Monday morning, impacting operations at the Lynden Pinling International Airport and 17 airports in the Family Islands. The sick-out involves Bahamas Public Services Union members and stems from several issues, including an outstanding industrial agreement and money they say they're owed. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Aviation Chester Cooper says a contingency plan has been put in place.
This is most disruptive. It's a very disruptive time to do it, given the summer travels. And also we happen to have an audit going on at the airport with TSA. So the timing is curious.
When our news team arrived at LPIA, lines were growing, but Cooper saying there was minimal impact at that time. However, videos circulating on social media showed otherwise. Meanwhile, Labor Minister Keith Bell, calling the union's actions illegal as a strike certificate issued in 2020 was referred to the Industrial Tribunal, making their certificate ineffective.
I am urging all members of the BPSU that are participating in this illegal industrial action to return to work immediately.
Labor Director Robert Farquharson says 90% of the 200 employees in New Providence didn't show up to work, along with 107 employees in the Family Islands. Bell says this could result in charges.
Any person who contravenes the provisions of subsection 1 shall be guilty of an offense and liable on summary conviction to A, in the case of an employee, to a fine not exceeding $200 or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 3 months, or to both such fine and imprisonment.
All right. Bertha McDermott, that report there. Okay, so as you heard earlier in the overnight, reading more about this and what's going on here, I'm sure the union will feel that they are within their rights to do this, but as you heard a little bit there, the government not really of that view. Labor Minister Keith Bell saying the action was illegal. Bell said that on July 27, 2020. Then Minister of Labor Dion Fowkes issued a strike certificate to the BPSU for its members employed at the Airport Authority. He advised that on February 27, 2021, Fowkes, in accordance with Section 76 of the Industrial Relations Act, referred the dispute to the Bahamas Industrial Tribunal. That's significant. So Bell said, quote, at 8:12 a.m. this morning, this was yesterday, BPSU President Kingsley Ferguson was advised by the Director of Labor that the matter regarding the trade dispute on outstanding payments owed to the members of the BPSU employed by the Airport Authority was referred to the Industrial Tribunal, and as such, any industrial action, including a planned sick-out taken by the BPSU, could be deemed illegal. In that conversation, President Ferguson acknowledged the advice given by Director Farquharson. Bell asked the BPSU workers to return to work forthwith. He said, quote, as Minister of Labor, I am now prepared to intervene personally in this matter, along with Director Farquharson and senior officers within my ministry, and formally invite the President of the BPSU to the bargaining table to resolve all outstanding matters amicably. Bell said the Airport Authority management had a copy of a voice note from Ferguson purportedly instructing BPSU members who work for the BAA, the Airport Authority, to go to the doctor and obtain 6 certificates for 5 days and lock the place down. That's a quote. Go to the doctor and obtain six certificates for 5 days and lock the place down. Bell pointed out that the failure to return to work could expose BPSU members to a $200 fine and or 3 months in prison. The law allows a $10,000 fine for a union that contravenes the Industrial Tribunal stay. The minister sidestepped questions on whether the government would push for the application of the penalties. Well, now, Tourism and Aviation Minister and Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper was at LPI yesterday. He reiterated the referral of the matter to the tribunal and that meant that the industrial action should cease. He said, quote, we are not going to take this laying down. We are going to employ all of what's available to us under the law to ensure that the residents and our tourists and traveling public are not adversely impacted. Now, with what's owed, Farquharson says that since September 2021, the government has paid $851,000 in money owed to BPSU members at the Airport Authority, and primarily those who are employed on Family Islands. There are additional monies that are owed, and the government was in discussions with Ferguson and the executives of the BPSU last week with the financial secretary to identify those monies owed and having them paid in the earliest possible opportunity. All right, so there's a lot more on this in the paper today. Let's get your reaction to it. Maybe you were traveling. Maybe you know people who were traveling, who got stranded, who got stuck, who missed their flights, the lines. We've got pictures in The Guardian today. Very long lines, people looking frustrated. For some reason, I may not say that. I was going to say it looks hot, but it probably isn't. But, everything just looks hot in July, right? So there's stories in here, people who were very worried and who apparently did miss their flights, and it's already been a mess flying internationally with the pilot shortages and more with the airlines cutting back on flights. So this just added to all of that. And I can imagine the frustration. Let's talk about it. Do you agree with what the union is doing? Is this overboard, too much? Is this killing an industry that is just trying to get back after 2 years with that pandemic? What are we doing here? What should be the next step? Let's get your views on it. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Let's hear from you on that. Don, what do you make of all of this here? Is this just...
I have the question I have, Dwight, is do we know how much is owed currently? Is that, as I saw it, they said $800,000 previously was paid out predominantly to the people in the Family Islands. But do we know how much, at least being said by union members, how much is currently owed by government to them in back pay?
Yeah.
Or we have no idea.
I'm not sure. We had Kimsey Ferguson on a few weeks ago. I don't recall, but I'm sure that's part of the problem, right? No one is ever on the same page with these things. Everybody has some different numbers and sees things in a different way. But I'm sure that is part of the challenge and exactly to whom this money is owed. But that would be good to know. They all have to agree that is where they are. Let's see what you're saying, callers. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Glenn. Thanks for taking my call.
Hi.
I'm trying to define in my mind what constitutes an illegal strike.
They just said it. It's very clear.
Yeah, I know it's clear. It's clear on that side.
Well, they went to once you put the matter before the tribunal, you're not supposed to do this anymore, and you let it play out in the tribunal. Right. So you did take the strike vote, but once it was referred to the tribunal, it's got to play out there. And so if you continue on with your strike action, then you violated the law,
right.
Which is illegal.
All right. So they are illegal in going and having a strike when something is before the tribunal. That's basically what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Well, here's what I suggest they do. Don't even worry about the tribunal. Just collectively get together and strike.
What now?
Yeah. Don't worry about this.
So you want them to continue with the illegal strike and
No. You call it illegal.
Well, it is illegal.
It's legal.
Hmm?
It's legal if everybody does it.
No. What?
Yeah. If you are not being paid and you decide to collectively get together.
They are being paid. They just feel they're owed some other things.
Right. So they're not getting everything that they feel as though they owe.
That's all of us in the world. Everyone in the world feels that way.
Yeah, well, you know what? Don't even tell them you're striking. Just strike. And let's get it over with. I think
what will we get it over? What will we get over? I mean,
we will get what we want.
Who's we?
Those who are striking.
But
all those other conditions that they want that they're not getting.
But what about the tourism industry, the airport, the chaos, the madness? What about all of that?
Well, government will step in and give them what they want and fix that.
Oh, yeah?
Because it's going to embarrass the whole country and the government.
You think you have examples of that working before?
Well, this will be the first time. Let's do it.
Oh, dear. Okay.
All right. I think that's because obviously we're not getting anywhere with these two governments back and forth. Let's stomp it out. That's just my opinion.
Okay. Oh, I hear you. We'll get what we want. I'm sure we will. Will we like what we get? Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Are you there? Good morning.
Hello, Mr. Strachan.
Hi, good morning.
How you doing?
Doing well.
I heard you say something a while ago, and you wasn't right. If we had some example of what happening now happened before.
Mm-hmm.
And we did have some happen before.
Okay.
And
that's in modern times, then. I expect you're going to go with...
No. Don't let's play the game of modern time.
Mm.
Because during Sir Clifford Darling time, they did close down the country.
Yeah.
Now you remember. But there's something I want you to...
It's a very different place from then, though. Extremely. It really does.
It's in Bahamas.
Well,
and they were fighting for the same thing.
Okay.
Okay?
I'm not too sure about that.
There's something I want you to look and probably dig up and play. Because a week ago, Mr. Cooper was the gentleman who was saying they are labor-friendly. And probably if you can look up the tape, you can listen and let the public be the judge.
Mm-hmm.
But we just go in and go in and talking, and we giving these people all sorts of blight. And I think we need to stop and start. People in the media, I'm not going to say you, but they need to go out and start doing some investigation on their own. Stop letting question Mike in people's face and letting them tell you what they want to tell you. Okay? Anyway, you all have a nice morning.
Okay. You too. I mean, everybody says they're labor friendly. You know whether they are by their actions. So, okay. They will all say that. The F&M will say that.
Yeah, it's the popular thing to say.
That's what you got to say. Right? But we have enough examples to know they all act like this when they get in there. So let's stop being stupid and just realize that we are fed lines. So, I don't know, investigations, sure, absolutely, but not in this regard, right? Because we all know what time it is. It's been that time from then. Okay. Good morning, caller, on the air.
Good morning, Dwight and Don.
Hi.
Yeah, another case of status quo governance, management inside the Bahamas. People who don't even believe in paying and divulging their by the law, what they're supposed to do as members of parliament, strong arming vehemence not to fight for their rights in this country. It's the same thing over and over and over. How dare you? You don't follow laws, but you could find laws to continue to dominate the citizens of this country, right? All of us need this strike, and I agree with that caller, because at the end of the day, these people aren't taking us serious. All they are interested in is the buck, the dollar, right? That's all they are interested in, and whoever get mashed up in the process, that ain't important to them. Once they could have that money go into the consolidated fund, and to make sure that their lives are straight, they're not interested in us, and and it doesn't matter who's in power, they keep showing us the same time people wake up bombers. Have a nice day.
Okay. All right. Call us 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Okay, let's take that other one there. Good morning, caller. You are on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight, and good morning, Dawn, and good morning to those who wake up in the land of the living. I hope you had something on your chest, hot to eat.
Good morning.
Mr. Strachan, I don't disagree with unions fighting for its people. Let me clarify that first. But I disagree when unions or people in the union are going to do something illegal. Let's be realistic, you and Don. We were locked down for so many years whilst those persons were working. All right? They were still paying their mortgages, their rents, their bills. What about the persons who didn't even have a job, who wish they have a job now? When you're going to take the opportunity to hold the ports in the country hostage, you're holding the whole country hostage. But at the end of the day, thank God that we have Defense Force and other agencies that can basically step up to the plate. But you can't hurt the government people. And I realize not because I support this government, you can't hurt the government. The government can hurt you more than you can hurt the government. I heard a lot of callers talking about things that happened then. This is a new decade, and this is a new breed of people. We're not violent people to act like how he's trying to explain. I know what he's talking about. So I encourage people in this country, the little job you have, hold on to that. Because at the end of the day, when your job gone, don't call Dwight Strachan talk show, say, oh, the government let me go. Have a good day.
Do it. Don't go yet. Don't go yet. Do it. This is a text here. Honest to goodness, a text here. I was thinking it too, though, but this is a text here. So ask DeWitt if he would have supported this had this happened last year. under the
If I would have supported this,
if this
and,
had happened,
and it's
or
illegal.
if you would have said this would have been, if you would have branded it as being illegal last year under the FNM.
And the facts is there, and the union leaders and everyone saying, the minister saying it's illegal. I don't care who the minister was, whether it's a FNM, PLP, doesn't matter. If something is illegal, Dwight, this is where we need to stop in our country. Not because we support a government, right? If something is illegal, it's illegal, Dwight. We can't change that. We can't water that down and change the narrative of that. It's illegal. So at the end of the day, if this was the F&M government, let me answer the Texas question. Of course I would have support that the minister, because it's illegal. If it's legal and the people striking, I with the people.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Have a good.
Appreciate it. Another call, and then we'll get to your text messages. Good morning, call. You're on there. Are you there? Good morning. I hear something. No. Okay. Let's get to the text message. Someone says here, Dwight, do you understand how stressful it is to go home after working and you can't pay your bills? Tell Keith Bell, do not threaten the workers. Give those people their money. This government better start working before more workers strike. Oh, boy.
I think I wanted to highlight on this, right, is several problems here. Is that I understand the whole thing, we've been in a pandemic and not everybody has had a job, but I don't think we should get into the mentality that we should take anything that comes our way or that happens to us in the name of, well, at least I have a job. But I think that's a very dangerous narrative. But I wanted to say, I don't know how we consistently find ourselves in this exact same position with various public servants, whether it be police officers or whoever. It seems every cycle, it's the same thing over and over again. And we're always seemingly, at least temporarily, uncertain about how much money is even owed. At least I'm talking about us as in the public. I'm sure someone in some back office in a cabinet that hasn't been open in 30 years has a idea of how much money is supposedly owed. But we can't consistently keep, well, we will. I mean, because this is the Bahamas. We just do the same thing over and over again until we die. But there should be things in place to address issues like this on a consistent basis. It should not be the case where you go into work and you do not get a paycheck or you do not get all your money on time. And that happens over the course of several months or even over a year. And then things supposedly, quote unquote, return to normal, but then you just never hear anything about your situation with your back pay. Or in this case, they talk about an industrial agreement. Again, these are things that have been reoccurring in this country time and time again. And I'm always perplexed as to why we always have Pikachu face when these things happen. Especially not us as payment people, but
what was that you said there? Pikachu face?
Pardon?
Is that what you said?
Yes.
Pikachu. Okay. I was wondering if I was hearing things.
It's the same surprising face every time. Every time the government goes through this, as if, oh my God, this has never happened before. We've done this song and dance many times.
Every year it feels like. Every year. Yeah.
Every year, every day is Groundhog Day in the Bahamas, right?
Yes. More text messages. A call we'll get to in a second. This person says here, I have no problem with the workers getting their money. What is sickening is the way it was done during a TSA inspection, which could lead to the decertification of LPIA, really, which could kill U.S. pre-clearance. Well, we can't destroy our country for a few coppers. Sad and shame on all those involved.
Well, if that's true that it actually was the TSA inspection and all these things, I didn't know that. But I would say, if that is the case, more than likely, then it was known prior that was the case. It was intentional.
The airport workers would know.
Yeah, they would know.
They would know.
More than likely,
So that was
this is the time to do it. This is when it'll sting the most.
Quite strategic. Oh, boy. Yeah.
Yes.
But that's a typical, right? The biting off the nose to spite your face type reaction. Boy. Oh, boy. Another one here. So proud of the union. Shut it down until you get your money. That wasn't any strike. What? So I don't know what Chester Cooper and Keith Bell are talking about. This government would borrow money to pay foreign businesses, executives, and consultants. So pay these people. And where is this voice note? Okay, a lot of people heard it. This person says 10 months later, they still haven't met with the Industrial Tribunal. Now, all of a sudden, the minister can meet with them? Unfortunately, it invariably takes such action for the government to respond. Government seems reluctant to to make tough decisions. They cannot be everything to every man. They do not seem to understand that. Yeah, well, that is unfortunate, definitely. This person says here, Prime Minister Davis and Deputy Prime Minister Cooper should and must remember that they did promise to address union issues before the elections. PLPs must honor what was promised. Remember, these union workers are Bahamians too and need their money. Another one, the millions being paid out to settle these cases of PLP cronies is more than sufficient to settle all union matters. I believe that's a text. Okay, well, I guess priorities, eh? This person saying, oh boy. So you're telling me the workers can't get paid, but they named a lot of people. Darnell Osborne, Clayton Fernander, Limon Delaveau, Shane Gibson, Cameron Dorset, not yet, and who knows who else, because the government hasn't been forthcoming with Bahamian people. But the men and women can't get what they worked so hard for after being promised what they would be. I smell a rat. And another one, Dwight, I don't have a problem with union members protesting at all. I have a problem when these union leaders hold up the general public to achieve a goal. I don't understand why they just can't discuss this and allow the tribunal to resolve the matter. I agree with that caller, though. We don't strong-arm politicians to file on time and properly. I didn't hear that same strong talk when they had to declare. Well, you weren't listening. But yes, we talk, but we don't strong-arm. I agree with that part. But people were and continue to complain about that. What are you doing? What are you saying? So we should step it up a little more with our anger about them failing. Again, that's against the law. That is illegal too, to not declare. And the manner in which our reaction to it is treated, right? It's laughed off. Well, yeah, well, they were busy. They forgot.
But get locked up for that.
Right. So I guess you're right with that part.
It's only wrong if you get kids.
No, apparently not. Apparently it's not. Right. Exactly.
I'm talking on the radio. They don't get. They don't want to report.
They're like, God, that's what they do. They just like to talk. That's what they do on that station. Talk. Okay.
Yeah. You don't lead the opposition or the prime minister saying, put this place in there for a day.
Right.
Like,
Not one person, except for the crazy talk show hosts and the callers. Who cares about them?
That's right. Because we drink the Kool-Aid, man. We expect in democracy and things. You have high expectations.
Foolish. Very foolish.
Foolish expectations. This is not a real country. What you looking for?
Wow. Okay, Tex, we agree with you. Yeah, maybe we need to get a little more vocal in quotation marks, about them when they mess up. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
And Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Morning, Dawn. I think that the government needs to come to some kind of agreement to meet with all the unions and all outstanding industrial agreements, because it can be frustrating for workers, because a lot of times there are a lot of outstanding issues that apparently it isn't a priority for the government until such actions like this occur. I don't think that the government should actually have all of these items pending for so long. And as it relates to the union, Mr. Ferguson, I would think that he's probably the worst union president ever, because it seems as he's always ill-informed. And
why do you say that? How so?
Because a lot of times he makes judgment calls, and a lot of the judgment calls really aren't deemed necessary, or like a crucial time like this. Come on.
No, that was
Why
intentional.
Would he even?
Obviously, that was intentional.
Yes, but Dwight, come on. He needs to make more realistic and more judgment. Whereas the airport now, these people ain't worked for 2 years. Dwight, you really think that this is a time that they should take to shut down the airport where you finally have tourists coming in?
But that's strategy. You do it when it will hurt the most, and so you get your way.
Okay, but
it's not. We don't like it.
Who's it really hurting?
It's hurting all of us. Yes, I agree with you. But that is strategy, and all's fair in love and war, and this is war apparently. And
well,
so,
anyway, I hope they can find some more foot soldiers to put out there and let them keep behind the battleground.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's crazy. I think the timing is awful. And Mr. Kingsley, he probably needs to be more reasonable when it comes down to making decisions like this, because honestly, the only thing that's going to hurt is the country.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. The unionist will say this was perfect. This was great strategy. He was here, I think that was 2 weeks ago, saying that this was coming. Right on the show, he talked about it. And we asked him, what do you mean? He said, well, y'all will see. That was a warning. Meet with us, deal with it, but nobody did. And he said, okay, well, I will show you. I will show you.
Well, my only question now is how much money we got to borrow for this?
Oh, boy.
I'm not against paying the people. One thing I know about the government of the Bahamas, if they don't have to pay you, they never will. So I don't know. I don't agree.
Apparently, even if they have to pay you, you might never get it. But
well, yeah, no, it goes to your estate, right? That's what they say. And then your estate can fight it out until your descendants die. And then their descendants can fight it out, and then you're all going to die anyway. But I was seriously, though, I'm really curious about this. Is that how long has this issue persisted? Is this obviously isn't something that just sprang up over the last, let's say, few weeks? Has this been an issue during the pandemic or prior to the pandemic, and it's just festered all this entire time? And the previous administration just never dealt with it. We've come to heads to this point, or is this something that just sprang up, let's say, within this year?
No, it's been a little while, and again, it's different issues, but it's been a little while. So
it's a culmination of things that have just been absolutely ignored.
Yeah, as usual.
So So what we're experiencing right now, Dwight, I'm going to argue this, isn't so much. Listen, just make this clear. I don't agree with what was done, right? I understand why it was done, but I think what we're experiencing right now is I wouldn't even use the word bait and switch, but a control of a narrative to say that, look, what these evil people are doing, this is absolutely unacceptable. We ain't gonna pay you now. And it's like, there's a lot more, I believe, going on behind the scenes of this issue, just like every single of the time this has happened. I remember quite vividly during the last Christie administration, we had issues with the police being paid, and that festered over until the government changed. With over time that they were due, and threats of not showing up to work, all sorts of things that happened. This isn't, like I said, our first rodeo of ever doing this. It's always a different group. It's collectively been a long-term issue in government, and I think there has to be some comprehensive approach to dealing with this issue. Otherwise, Dwight, when the next administration comes in, we are once again going to be right here on your show talking about a strike action that was taken that basically...
I already have this show in the bank. It's going to be played 5 years from now. We just edit out some names. It'll be the same thing.
You know what?
I could have run a show from 5 years ago, and it would have been the same thing.
If we played a drinking game of every single time these sorts of things happen, we would have no liver.
I was going to say we'd have no alcohol, but both. Okay, we'd run out of both. But sure. This text here, Dwight, I blame you then because you knew this was coming. Well, that's hilarious. But
well, that's true because Dwight, you didn't inform the government that this was going to come.
This is available for free over the airwaves, and
you are being very irresponsible as a journalist.
He said it in the papers, and he said it everywhere. And if you didn't read it or listen to it,
did you put it in WhatsApp?
Okay. They've heard him say these things before. We've heard every single union leader say this in the last year. So, okay. This person says, oh boy. Did I hear one of the government leaders say that the strike vote workers will be fined for striking? They could be. They could be fined. That's in their agreement. That's in the law for striking illegally. If you have permission to strike, that's a different story. But this one was illegal because it's before the tribunal, and so you're not supposed to do that. But it's taken a while. This one says, I think those airport workers are very impatient. This government has only been in power for less than a year. The government has a lot on their plate. Why keep the country hostage? It affects the tourism industry. Give the government a little more time. Patience is the key. Okay. Dwight is telling an untruth. His tone was always harsh to the alternative government. Which one is that? You, Mr. Strawn, know... Is it Dwight or DeWitt? Who are you talking about? You meant DeWitt. That's what you mean?
They're saying White. D. White? Yes.
I think they meant to say DeWitt. Okay. All right. Confusing all of us here. Anyway, and I know better that DeWitt was not yet. DeWitt would have been... Okay, I see what you're saying. That had it been the previous administration in at this time, he would have been more supportive. You all don't attack our callers, please. Anyway, this person says, I don't feel sorry for the unions because before the elections, the PLP highlighted every industrial action and signed understandings with unions, but after they won, they only sorted out their friends. They should have kept politics out of their fight. Now, okay, I hear you. Kimsley Ferguson and others will say that they weren't a part of that signing, that MOU, that Memorandum of Understanding with the opposition at that time. They'll say that, but yeah, okay.
So I find this the whole union thing to be very confusing. I thought, you know what? Let me not even delve into that because I guess extraordinarily political of which union signed in for what, and then which union leaders got government jobs.
Wow. Yeah,
very
don't go down that road.
I'm not trying to throw any stones. I'm just saying it's very confusing to try to connect the dots because I'm like, I don't even know what's happening. But sure.
All right, this text, this is following up on what a caller said earlier. Folks, you all need to stop. This is very dangerous. This is not, no. This person says here, it cannot be illegal if the masses collectively participate. Where are you all getting this from? What? The government needs to put more interest in its human resources. If this requires the country being embarrassed, then so be it. Law enforcement is in the same predicament. You don't want to go down this road talking about if the majority of us are doing it, it can't be illegal. That's very dangerous.
I don't agree with it's not illegal. I mean, what is illegal in the Bahamas, right? But I mean that in the sense that that's ignoring the legality part of it. Part of what they say about the human resources issue is definitely a problem. I like the fact that they brought up that the police force has been in the same predicament. Yes, there's also issues in the defense force. People who were given promotions 2-3 years ago, the few of them that did, and still never got to pay for it. So they have a rank with no money. But anyway, this is a regular thing. Like this always happens. So obviously there's a failure, a systemic failure there. If these people are a part of the civil service, and this is a recurring issue that needs to be addressed. I don't know if it's addressed through legislation, through policy, or something needs to change in the accounting principles that are done. But again, unless something is done, I don't want to hear simply about them paying people and saying now this issue is addressed. We've written a check, borrowed some money from whichever international body, or done some bonds to pay these things off. But what are we doing to systemically address these issues concurrently happening over and over and over and over again? I'm sure if we had Hubert Ingram on here right now, he'll tell countless stories of his interactions of the exact same thing. If we could resurrect Penny, he'd probably tell us stories about it. So obviously there is a clear and present systemic failure in this country when it comes to paying people human resources, paying people on time for their qualifications, their overtime, also staffing issues. Because I think we've had persons call into the show before, Dwight, who were air traffic controllers and said that they wanted to take vacation time off and they absolutely can't because there's no staff. So they end up racking up vacation time for years and years and years. And that causes issue when it's come time for them to retire. And then issues arise when people do not want to, or the government does not want to pay out the entirety of their vacation time that they were not allowed to take. So they're forced to take the vacation time shortly before time. We see this consistently in the police force and the defense force. I'm just saying, this is a clear and present failure that needs to be addressed. If we don't, we'll continue to have these situations until we're underwater.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, let's take this call and we've got to take a break. Good morning, caller on the air.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
Doing well.
All right. Is it illegal to owe people and not pay them?
Yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, what's all the hullabaloo? The reality is that the people who are owed, they should be paid.
Yes.
One of the problems in this country...
Yes, but what? What do you mean? So they should be able to do whatever they want?
No, okay, so let's take this argument. Illegals come in this country, they break the law, They build shanty towns. The law comes in, try to break it down. The court upholds that, protect them. The Bahamians trying to get their right payment, and then they're not protected. I mean, what are we running in this country? You follow what I'm saying?
I get where you're going. It isn't as simple as that, though. And no one's trying to uphold or protect those people from doing their illegal actions. They're just they're stays so they can fully hear the matter and cover all the legal grounds.
Yeah, but illegal actions taken by persons coming to the country. They build shanty
Okay,
towns.
but that's not fair to bring that up in this discussion.
No, but the
I mean, that's
principle
that's something very
Yeah,
different.
but the principle doesn't change. If something is not right, what course of action does the Bahamian have to get justice in their own country? I mean,
You can strike here. They have applied for a strike vote, and they could have gone on strike, but because that's in their agreement and the law that once the minister or somebody takes it to the tribunal, you can't do anything anymore.
However,
you let that play out in the tribunal.
all of a sudden now, it was taken to the tribunal. Then they were owed for years, right? This is the kind of injustice that takes place in this country that frustrates the Bahamian citizen.
Yeah.
And so what you expect a man to do when you back him against the wall, that is exactly what is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Bahamas, we are seeing an inflationary scenario that has frustrated a lot of Bahamians. And if we don't do something to rectify, to assist, to help, and to pay the people what they owe, they will stand up for themselves. I don't care what court system, I don't care what legal system. Sri Lanka is an example of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we only agree on laws because it's a collective agreement. And if the people collectively stand up for their rights, how can the law be enforced?
Okay. I hear you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Well, they're going to say they had to do what they had to do, and they may have achieved what needed to be achieved. We'll see. We'll keep you posted on it. We're going to talk with the bus drivers when we get back as well. This is Morning Blend on a Tuesday morning here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Cut your first look at traffic now, brought to you by RBC. For all of life's moments, there's one Visa Classic credit card. A reminder of Village Road. You definitely want to avoid that area as work continues there. In fact, Village Road from Shirley Street to Harmony Hill Road is closed, and that's been causing lots of issues for folks on Eastern Road and on East Bay trying to get onto Shirley Street, and traffic is backed up there as we speak. So keep that in mind. If you don't have to go that way, try some alternate routes, maybe Bernard Road or Prince Charles Drive. Prince Charles Drive just seeing some pockets of traffic at the major intersections right now. Elsewhere in your real-time traffic, we've got Milo Butler Highway. That's your hotspot this morning from Fire Trail all the way up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway. The northbound lanes, heavy traffic there. Glacier Road looks like a better alternate route for you, but the closer you get to Munnings Road, you're going to see that traffic in front of you, northbound to JFK Drive. Elsewhere, just pockets along Carmichael, westbound to Coral Harbor Road, and building eastbound to Blue Hill Road on Carmichael. Blue Hill Road seeing some, as usual, near that hill, getting over that hill just north of Soldier Road to Independence Drive. Northbound there, and some building traffic on Independence Drive, westbound. And near the entrance to Town Center Mall on Independence Drive. That's what we're looking at. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC. Experience cashless purchasing power and chip and pin security with your RBC Visa Classic credit card. Manage your day-to-day expenses and apply today at rbc.com/Caribbean/Visa Classic. We'll be back with more Morning Blend after these messages on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Are you an attorney with a joint practice operating from one location? Accepting payments from clients doesn't have to be complicated.
Introducing RBC MultiPay,
Now each attorney can securely accept and settle payments with one point-of-sale device supporting multiple bank accounts.
With competitive pricing, training, and easy setup, you will be up and running in no time.
Call 356-8500 to sign up for RBC MultiPay.
I used to think of the bank as my personal ATM machine. If I wanted a new car, new furniture, a weekend trip to Miami, no problem, just max out the credit card or top up my loan. I was a big baller until I realized that 75% of my salary was going to pay back all those loans. Fidelity's personal financial coaching was the best solution. Fidelity gave me a plan with a debt consolidation loan that has a built-in savings that pays 5% interest. I now only have one low monthly payment, plus money in my pocket. Give Fidelity Bank a call at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit any of Fidelity's locations or visit a website at fidelitygroup.com.
Catch Janae's annual 20% off back-to-school sale going on this week only. Get up to 20% off on all school items in stock. Yes, 20% off all school items. Shirts, jumpers, skirts, boys' long and short pants, school neckties, PE shorts in a variety of colors, colorful backpacks and lunch bags, character towels, raincoats, and umbrellas. Shop early and don't miss out on this. Janae's Chesapeake Road's annual 20% off back-to-school sale going on this week only. The best quality school garments at low, low prices. Beat the rush and save. Janae's 20% off annual back-to-school sale going on now. Restrictions apply.
At Doctors Hospital, our lamp just got brighter. The Loyalty Advantage membership program now has 3 unique plans to choose from. From Lamp Prepaid with free prime care visits and service line discounts, Lamp Insured with copay waivers and 0 upfront collections at the ER and inpatient services, or our new Lamp Access, a free plan that offers 10% off lab, pharmacy, and imaging. Lamp has a plan for everyone. To sign up, visit our website or give us a call. Doctors Hospital, trusted and best care now.
You're always on the go. We know life can be a daily rush. CIBC, First Caribbean, you can count on us. We make life easier. Manage your accounts at any time. Apply for a loan. It's easy when you bank online. We make life easier with choices that suit you. CIBC, First Caribbean.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
We're back here with Morning Blend. Before we go to the news, Dwight, Strachan, and Don Sargent with you. Going to read some more of your text messages. This person says here, I'm sure the TSA knows what a strike action is. I'd find it very hard to believe they'd decertify an airport based on a strike. More than likely, a decertification would be a sad coincidence, as it would uncover operational noncompliance that no one addressed, strike or no strike, before the inspection. That one seems unlikely, but embarrassing, and that was clearly the intent. This person says here, we'll get to the bus drivers after the news, but bus drivers need to stake out the airport to catch the in-demand prime minister when he returns from a visit to the real world of life in the New Day Bahamas. Okay. This person says here, the problem is the secret settlements with taxpayers' money and just promises to keep people holding on for their money. Hope Prime Minister Davis gets it sorted out before more departments withdraw their labor. This is a long one. Okay, I will wait until after the news for that one. That's an essay there. Just as the callers are saying that the unions knew about the TSA meeting the government, also knew that they could have resolved the issue before this happened, I guess. Yes, okay. While the country is burning, the Prime Minister is flying. Okay. Anyway, we'll get to the rest of those after the news. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
I got to get to 15 or 21A. Cause they headed to Bay Street. Put up Snapchat pics coming through to me. Cause it's showtime on Bay Street. This ain't Bacchanal, this ain't Carnival. The only that we happen is Chocolate on Bay Street. Lights everywhere, camera action, we don't care. The only that we happen is Chocolate on Bay Street. The Saxon say, the Bali say, Fruit say, Family say, Makers say, Color say, Genesis say, we all say.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796. And now at 8:19, it's time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. Here's what's happening. We've got a drier than usual weather pattern for this time of year, this summer. That's going to remain in place today as the Atlantic Ridge of high pressure, Atlantic Ridge, along with the lingering layer of Saharan dust, will suppress much of the rainfall across the country through tonight. Beachgoers, especially in the central and southeast Bahamas, should exercise caution due to the moderate risk of rip currents along eastern shorelines. And everybody's being advised to remain hydrated and to limit outdoor activities during peak afternoon hours, as heat indices are expected to soar into the triple digits. For all areas today, your forecast calling for mostly sunny, hot, hazy, and breezy conditions with a few light showers possible, turning fair and warm tonight. Smallcraft caution remains in effect for the central and southeast Bahamas. Temperatures getting up to around 90 Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius, but the heat index will make it feel like 102 Fahrenheit, 39 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting around about 79 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. In your extended outlook, the Atlantic High Ridge will continue to dominate weather across the country, steering warm and locally brisk summer breezes across the country. Meanwhile, air quality will begin to improve by midweek as the Saharan dust will gradually diminish, allowing for a slight increase in rain chances across the islands through Thursday. So, for tomorrow, Wednesday, mostly sunny, hot and breezy with a few light showers possible. Thursday, partly sunny to sunny, hot and breezy with passing showers. The tropics are quiet, tropical cyclone formation not expected over the next 5 days. That's your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance, still the first and only local insurance company and agency network that lets you buy car and home insurance 100% online. Try it at bahamasfirst.com. And we've got another check of your traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. For all of life's moments with one Visa Classic credit card. In your real-time traffic this morning. Got mild Butler Highway 6 heavy traffic northbound from Fire Trail all the way up to Tarn Starling Highway. Your alternate routes are looking better. Gladstone Road, much better as an alternate route, but still heavy traffic as you get closer to JFK Drive. And Blue Hill Road, just some congestion near St. Vincent Road and near Carmichael Road if you're heading northbound. And especially north of Soldier Road on the way to the roundabout with Independence Drive. You'll see that heavy traffic there. Elsewhere, we got a big building traffic on West Bay Street eastbound to the roundabout with the Providence Highway. That's around Saunders Beach. You'll see that there eastbound. And East Street looking busy for you just south of Soldier Road northbound. And especially between Soldier and the roundabout with East-West Highway and Independence Drive. And going north into the intersection with Robinson Road. And then there's Eastern Road, seeing that back up there as a result of that closure from Village Road, starting at Shirley Street onto Harmony Hill Road. That is causing some delays in that area, and you're being advised to avoid Village Road and that part of Shirley Street if you can. It's backed up on East Bay and Eastern Road as a result of that throughout the day. Those are your main hotspots. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC. Experience cashless purchasing power and chip and pin security with your RBC Visa Classic credit card. Manage your day-to-day expenses and apply today at rbc.com/Caribbean/Visa Classic.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
All the way from Hawkinson. They call me Cupid. We had to talk about these bus drivers today. Why they making no sense on the road? Why they crazy? Let's see with them now. Let me show you. They make one way to two way to three. The things they do, you gotta see to believe. Oh Lord, jump on this bus.
Yes, let's knock them while they're down. Pardon any puns there, because people have been. Anyway, welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong along with Don Sargent. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to be talking about some interesting things happening for people with disabilities in the country. We'll get an update in just a bit. Wanted to get to, as we promised, the industrial action that's been happening in the country. We've been talking about the airport all morning. In fact, if you heard the news, there's been a development overnight. The Supreme Court ordering an injunction, ordering that the airport workers get back to work immediately. And if they don't, there'll be even more serious consequences. So we'll see. We'll see if that changes anything today. All right. So while this was happening yesterday, bus drivers also parked their buses, and they are demanding, they've been saying this for months now, they've been demanding a fare increase as well. Here's what happened yesterday, again, from our partners, our media partners with Our News and Marlena Leonard.
Key, the Bahamas Unified Bus Drivers Union is conducting a peaceful protest, demanding that they're heard by the Prime Minister himself.
Mr. Prime Minister, these are your people. We are your people. Please, sir, we are pleading with you to come meet with us.
Colberg says an estimated 75% of bus drivers are off the road today. This comes after Housing and Transport Minister JoBeth Colby-Davis promised relief packages for bus drivers in the country at the end of the month. Member of the union Leroy Thompson says that's not what they need.
What we're really looking for is an increase in the bus fare. And then a lot of us do not own our plate. We own buses, but we do not own plate. We need to get our plate. The same way they issue taxi plates to the taxi drivers, we need plates too.
Thompson says the issue of plates is one he has personally been pressing for over 35 years. He says the fact that plates are limited makes it difficult for bus drivers to turn a profit.
On any given day, they spend $100-something on fuel. So if they spend $120 to $130 on fuel, just look at some of us who say we working for somebody. So at the end of the day, we pay $120 to $130 for fuel, and then we still got to pay the boss. Let's say the boss want $160, $120. We still got to pay him. What do we carry on?
When asked how long they'd be willing to stop services,
if we have to do this every day, we can do this every day because we ain't making nothing anyway. So if we have to strike again tomorrow, we'll strike tomorrow.
Reporting for our news, I'm Marlena Leonard.
Okay. Let's get your reaction to that, folks. Again, they've been saying this, especially since the pandemic, when they were forced to, only half the occupancy on a bus. And of course, a lot of people weren't catching buses. A lot of people didn't have work to go to. And so they've had 2.5 rough years. And fuel prices are up. Everything is up now. The cost of living is up. And so it's all crashing down on them. But what say you on this? 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Got a call. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, sir. Good morning to all.
Hi, good morning.
You know, about the talk of when it's the right time to strike. What about the teachers? Should the teachers strike when school is in vacation? You know, there's never a good time to strike if you put it like that. I mean, for the teacher, other than when school is in vacation, But it amazed me how we talk about the free market system, right? But we have limited licensing, in what I'm saying, in markets. How is the market free when licenses are limited? The bus driver says they have this issue with the licensees being able to have their plates, But I personally believe that public busing should be public owned. You know what I'm saying? That's and the traveling poor, people that have to travel every day by buses, their buses should be busing for them as essential. And it should be affordable. You see, so the bus whether the bus needed, the bus drivers need or companies needed an increase in fares. Man, the workers always need an increase in salaries. You know what I'm saying? So especially the working poor, like they're not organized, they're not unionized, not like the middle class and the public servants and the like. So we need to be fair. And you know what I'm saying? Do the livable wage. The minimum wage is less than half, 50% of the livable wage. You know what I'm saying? So we need to get that right and stop talking about we are labor friendly and the like. All of our governments, we need to do right. People that make the money in the economy, they need to pay the taxes. They need to lift their weight, carry their weight, man, and stop putting all the burden on the poor people, because labor is just as important as capital. You see, capital cannot do without labor. Time for labor to boycott. You know what I'm saying, the capital. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Don, we've got some text messages here. Someone says here, now you see why the Bahamas is so expensive. Example, every time fuel goes up, everyone wants to increase their prices to offset any loss. Fine, but when the fuel returns to normal lows, most entities don't reciprocate. The government should allow all the increases, but force them to go back to pre-hike rates when the fuel goes back down, at least for entities they control pricing for. Your thoughts? Okay, it would be great if they could. So what are you saying? Well, people like bus drivers too, who say they want to hike because of fuel costs, they should, after it goes back down, that shouldn't apply anymore? Is that what you're saying as well? Or what do you think? Huh. This one says here, let's not, what? Where's this text coming from out of nowhere? Let's not totally forget Jazz Chisholm, the first Bahamian to play in the All-Star game. Okay. Yeah, we talked about it this morning. He's not playing, unfortunately, because he's injured, but we haven't forgotten. And we'll be watching to not see him play. But yes, we haven't forgotten. And we're watching Tania Gaither and the 200-meter semifinals. That's going to be this evening. And the finals, hopefully she'll make it to the finals on Thursday. And we hope Anthony Strachan is fine. We hope you tuned in early, the first part of the show. We talk about those things too. Okay, this part here, I told someone that Oh, boy. Minister of Transport Jo Beth Colby Davis insulted those people when she said that in the House of Assembly, when she was talking about a stipend, she really wasn't thinking on that day. Now the bus drivers don't want to meet with her anymore. Besides, she needs to be removed from that ministry. Okay. Another one here. Public transportation should be just that. This private plate thing is why we have so many political patronage and corruption. Thanks. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Dwight and you guys.
Hi.
Right. We really need to manage this country properly, man. Like, mismanagement got us all kind of problems facing out in the same. How difficult it is, right? The government don't have to pay the bus drivers. How difficult it is to say, okay, wear and tear, gasoline, all them things y'all got, renting plates from other people, $2. And then they ain't got to worry about that for the next 5, 10 years. How difficult is that? The public pays for the bus. It ain't like when the bus drivers ask for an increase, the government got to pay them. Increase the thing to $2 and leave it for 5 to 6 years. You know the wear and tear on those buses. Man, I feel ashamed as almost a senior citizen giving them people $1, man. Come on, man, that's very easy to fix. Thanks for taking my call, Dwight.
Okay, all right. Don, are you there? Are you there?
Hey, Dwight,
oh,
can you
there
hear
we
me?
go. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I was saying earlier, an easy solution to this problem would have been for us, 30 years ago to have a unified bus system instead of having a hodgepodge, extraordinarily dysfunctional, privatized bus system where we allow a cartel to hold a bunch of bus plates, which makes absolutely no sense. We spoke about this before on the show, Dwight, and how I think it was in the beginning of the pandemic, and how this would eventually cause an issue. And now that obviously fuel prices have gone up, here we are. And also the person's complaint, I think it was a text message where they said that things go up when the cost of living goes up, like the cost of fuel, but then when these things go down, they never go down. Yes, that is oftentimes the case in this country, but the sad reality is of this, Dwight, what we're experiencing right now isn't just, to put a lack of a better term, this is a long-standing policy failure of the country of having no adequate public transportation system, which then forces a lot of people to go ahead and have to go buy cars and assume the massive amounts of expenses which the government makes copious amounts of money off of the taxes on. So instead of us actually addressing the issue of public transportation, like we're supposed to, I don't know how many times we've done bus pilot programs that have all ended in failure, resulting in absolutely nothing changing in this dysfunctional system, just perpetuating its cycle over and over again. And us doing absolutely nothing to change the paradigm and just kicking the can down the road is, again, 5 years down the road, Dwight, we're going to replay this same episode and we're going to talk about this exact same thing when, yet again, the price of this needs to go up. If we had a unified bus system, we could put persons who work in the public transportation sector on a salary, whether it be preferably not a public-private partnership with the government, because the government's going to be able to find money if we ever need to, but literally just have a unified system where we use electric buses, have a proper bus station like we said we were supposed to build, 25 years ago, which never happened, and get rid of this issue that we have. It perplexes me how administration after administration says they're always going to address this issue half-heartedly, and we're having the exact same conversation.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to die and resurrect, Dwight, and we're going to still have the same conversation if this country isn't underwater in 2100.
Yeah. Well, it's clearly working for somebody. This is the only explanation we can come up with.
Just not the payment people, the payment public, or the people who have to pay plate owners because they don't own their own plates.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Yeah, the people who don't matter, right? Yeah.
But you know what? This system makes perfect sense, Dwight, because this is the Bahamas. We've been doing it like this for years. So cheapest, we just keep doing it that way because, we ain't really too big on thinking for ourselves.
Some messages we go to a break. This person says, in morning, the fare increase for bus drivers was on the table from 2008. This is nothing new for the bus that the bus union is asking for, right? Okay. We want to take that call? Yeah? Let's do that, and then we'll go to the break. I'll read a couple more messages, too. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, morning, Dwight.
Hi.
Yeah, okay. First thing I'll say, like the commentator was saying, that First of all, I'll say this: the government need to take over the bus system. You see, in Miami, you go in any place in the Caribbean, the government run the bus system. Long as they have it the way they have it, I got 3 bus plates. You drive for me, you make that $200. Well, that's for you. And we have this rat race. And a matter of fact, if they have a good bus system, some people could leave the car home. That could help alleviate the traffic problem. Because I'll know the bus coming to me a certain time, and I'll be prepared to be to work on time and coming home on time. But the problem is, long as they have it the way they have it, you got 3 plates, I got 4 plates. I don't want to go Adelaide way. I don't want to go Bacardi Road, and we can have this problem. So only way this could be solved, right? Like I can say this, and I don't know most people agree with me. The Mr. Government needs to take it over. The government needs to take it over and regulate it properly. I know one time ago they had a bus system was to run between Marathon, back downtown. That's the nearest they come down in that particular area. That was a perfect system. But it ain't gonna work. Government have to take it over and bite the bullet.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And ideally, it shouldn't be
we
central.
can borrow some money, man, Dwight. We can have another pilot bus program. We can borrow some more money.
Yeah.
Like on that IDB grant.
It's crazy. Ideally, it shouldn't be the central government. Ideally, if we had a sensible system, it would be a local government initiative,
But
a
Dwight,
city of whatever.
Country.
Yeah. But we gotta get serious now. This is really sickening. It's annoying. It's stupid. And I would give these folks the big fear. What you want? $3? Yeah, you do it. And I would introduce my own city transit authority, and we are the fare. The fare is gonna be $1 or $1 something, and there will be staff members. These people, drivers, will be staff members driving these buses. They'll be all the same color, and we'll go to all the places that the people don't want you to go. And there will be a schedule. There will be transfers. No. You can't do that with private people. You got to do.
No. I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying we partially did
tried,
that.
yeah, but partially is not it. Partially is not it. And you got to get serious. Bring in the buses, electric buses. Have a totally different system. Y'all could do your thing over there. What you want? $4 fare? Good. We'll be $1 something. And yeah, now you can say this is unfair. You're undercutting us. Oh yeah. Okay, sure. Anyway, do your own thing, and encourage the folks to use the city of whatever transit authority. Problem solved. Bam.
Dwight, you're so idealistic. I agree with you. You got to remember, we're coming from not idealist. We're coming from a very neoliberal standpoint on our approach to public transport, which is not just public transportation. Virtually everything in the Bahamas. That's the whatever we can offload to the private sector and the government not have to take care of, and then under-regulate and poorly govern whatever sector that is exactly what we do. I'm agreeing with you that we should do that. I thought that's what was happening in the pilot bus program, where the government had the funding to do so. Maybe not in the mass scale they would have liked to, but they definitely could have addressed a lot of these issues. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. I dare say, Dwight, maybe we should write a letter. We should write an open letter to the Minister of Transport.
You have time, paper, ink to waste, or is it you going to print it?
We can fax it. Let's fax the MP.
That'll be. Yes, that sounds.
Come on, Dwight. You gotta be.
You gotta be thinking in a '90s mindset. Yes, that makes sense. Messages as we go to the break. This person says, "Why does it take so long to bring a relief to the average Bahamian? We can move swiftly to make settlements, but the common man who's been given unfulfilled promises for years, we're told to wait, be patient. We're working on it. It's not right. I applaud the bus drivers and airport employees for taking a stand." Wow. Okay. And this one here. Why is the government so opposed to reducing its taxes on fuel? This would help to reduce the costs and provide much-needed relief to a wide sector of the population. Yeah.
When has the government of the Bahamas ever foregone revenue? Ever.
Oh, boy. And someone says here, don't forget, with the unified bus system, and especially electric buses, we can have bus smart cards, digital payments, allowing people to budget better. We can do this. We can do this. If they don't want to do it, we can do it. Let the city of Nassau, an independent authority, right? Let them do it. A fully owned company within the government. But anyway, you know what I mean. right? No, we can talk about it more.
No,
we got to go to the break.
You better park them quarters in your pocket.
We'll be back. Stay with us. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio.
You're always on the go. We know life can be a daily rush. CIBC, First Caribbean, you can count on us. We make life easier. Manage your accounts at any time. Apply for a loan. It's easy when you bank online. We make life easier with choices that suit you. CIBC, First Caribbean.
When faced with an illness like cancer, we band together, and we at Cleveland Clinic in Florida have your back. From advanced cancer treatments to extra safety measures at all of our locations, we're with you on this journey. For every infusion and follow-up, for every step of the way, for every care in the world. Cleveland Clinic in Florida. Get the care you need when and where you need it. To learn more or connect with a local representative, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
Wherever you're headed, the Custom Computers Know-How team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Discover the latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4.
That's the sound of a bite-sized payment I made on my new laptop.
Can I make a bite-sized payment on this amazing vacation?
Yes, with Scotia Select Pay. Now my big-ticket credit card purchases are more manageable with flexible bite-sized payments over 3, 6, 9, or 12 months at a lower interest rate. Scotia Select Pay allows me to better plan my expenses over time. The best part? No credit checks or financing application. Visit bs.scotiabank.com. Conditions apply.
Breakfast just got better at Wendy's. Introducing the Breakfast Biggie Bag. Enjoy a double sausage muffin with 2 square sausage patties, a freshly cracked egg, and cheese served on a toasted English muffin, a medium waffle fries, and an orange juice for only $5.25, fat inclusive. Add an apple pie for just $1 more.
Say what?
At Wendy's, better breakfast is all day. Offers valid in participating locations. Wendy's, different inside and out.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL. Growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Are you an attorney with a joint practice operating from one location? Accepting payments from clients doesn't have to be complicated.
Introducing RBC MultiPay. Now each attorney can securely accept and settle payments with one point-of-sale device supporting multiple bank accounts.
With competitive pricing, training, and easy setup, you will be up and running in no time.
Call 356-8500 to sign up for
RBC
MultiPay.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of the new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong along with Don Sargent. We're going to change gears now, folks. And we could talk about buses and the system all day long, all week. But we'll get back to that at some point. But some exciting things are happening for people with disabilities in the country. Some changes coming and some exciting new initiatives. Here to tell us all about it, we're very pleased to welcome back to the show from the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities and the Disability Affairs Unit, Kendrick Roll, and the Deputy Secretary for the National Commission for Persons with Disability Secretariat, Townsley Roberts. Good morning, gentlemen. Welcome back to the show. Good to have you with us.
Good morning, Biden. This morning to your listening audience.
All right, so we've got a lot to talk about. Let's talk about the commission and some developments, some new additions to it. Let people know what exactly is going on.
Well, thank you, Dwight. First of all, in May of the year, the new commissioners for the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities were all appointed. And also from early in the year, around March, they fully staffed the secretariat. And so from that point, we have been hard at work under the leadership of our new chairman, who is Mrs. Nalini Bethel. She will now serve as the chairman for the National Commission for the next 3 years. And we've already begun hitting the grounds running. We went to Grand Bahama, where we had hosted 2 town hall meetings and began a registration drive. And that was a very successful venture. Within that one trip, we did that at the end of May. Within that one trip, we were able to add about 300 persons to our database, registering persons with disabilities in the country. And this is so important because once we are able to register the amount of persons with disabilities in the country, the government can then go to work putting together proper programs and projects that will be beneficial to them. If there is not a registry and we do not know who the persons are, where they are, the government and other agencies who want to partner won't have any idea to or even motivation to be able to put funding and other resources together to be able to assist the community of persons with disabilities. Right. So we feel that was great move. Grand Bahama persons coming out, and we are actively now trying to make provisions to be able to register persons all across the country, so that we can get some real stuff mobilized for the community of persons with disabilities.
That's very important. Okay, so let's get some definitions in there. So what are we considering to be a disability? Who do we count as someone with a disability?
Let Mr. Ross answer that.
Townsley? Mm-hmm.
Remember, there are many types of disabilities. We tend to only consider those that you can actually see. Mm-hmm. But persons have disabilities that are physical in nature. For example, me, who's an amputee or wheelchair user. You have persons like Mr. Errol, who's visually impaired. You have persons who are hearing impaired, which we consider that group as persons with Alzheimer's. I'll come back to that. But anyway, we have persons with intellectual disabilities or learning disabilities. There are many types. You have the developmental disabilities, persons who were seemingly born normal, but their disability developed later on in life, between 0 to about 19. So we don't discriminate in terms of disabilities. Even we'd be also add in that group persons with mental challenges.
Right.
They're all disabilities. And be mindful that disabilities can also, everyone not born with a disability. You can, as you age, you tend to gain disabilities in terms of mobility issues, visual issues, hearing issues. All of those we consider as disabilities.
So that's a lot of people there.
Yes.
So
that's
I know
why the United Nations consider that 10 to 15% of any nation as a population of persons with disability.
My goodness.
And it can be higher in countries such as the Bahamas because we have issue with such diseases as diabetes, hypertension that lead many times to other disabilities.
Right. Wow. So for those who aren't familiar, tell us about the work of the commission. What exactly are the goals and the objectives for this body?
The commission is a body created by law that helps government to create policy related to persons with disability. As Mr. Rowe mentioned before, we are trying to move to a more data-driven model that, as you know, Mr. Strachan, the Bahamas has not been really good at collecting data and using the data to create the policy and programs that are needed. And this is why such programs and issues of registration is so important, because once we know what really exists in the country, then we can justify to the government of Bahamas and private entities why such laws may need to be added, why we need certain programs, why we need certain facilities. As we speak, Mr. Raul mentioned about the registration drive we did in May, but as we speak now, the Department of Social Services is helping the National Commission with Persons with Disability to do a registration drive in Grand Bahama between this week and next week. Because this is how important it is, and not just for data collection, but also remember we live in a hurricane belt, so to speak. We also need that data to help NEMA create its policies. If there's an issue where NEMA or the government says we need to evacuate a particular area, we need to know who's living in those areas and who needs to be relocated. And NEMA will have to have those numbers and names and locations to be able to seek out those persons. We don't want another situation as we have with Dorian, where persons, remember we had this large list of persons who we thought died during Dorian.
Yep.
And the fact of the matter is, we just didn't know who was where and where they lived. And we can't let that happen again. We need to learn from our mistakes. So we're looking for this information so we know where they live and we know which areas are low-lying. We ask questions like, do they live in a dwelling that is secure or strong enough to withstand certain disasters? So we know who to help and get them out, because you can replace property. You can't replace life.
Yeah.
And imagine the challenges it will be to try evacuate someone during the storm who's able-bodied. But imagine a person who has a disability and trying to do the same.
Let's talk more about this. We've talked to both of you over the years about challenges facing people with disabilities in the country. We were just talking about the bus system here. We know that has been a major challenge. How are things looking in that regard, especially with transportation? And is there any sign that things will be addressed or get better in the near future?
Currently, the government is looking at creating a program where there is a system of public transportation that is designed for persons with disability, where the service is provided from the door to door, from the person with disability, from their door to wherever they need to go and back. They're considering a private-public partnership to keep the costs low, because as you know, many persons with disability are currently unemployed. We also, a part of this data we're trying to collect is to find ways to educate, to train persons for employment. And one of the biggest challenges to get employment is that this no public transportation that really caters to us to help us get to a job.
So this would be something separate from the current bus system.
Because the jitneys are not designed for persons who are wheelchair users.
Right. And
the fact of the matter is, I'm a public transportation user, and I've had situations over years where bus drivers will pass me by, assuming that I probably will slow them down. When they're rushing and on the streets and competing with other bus drivers, slow them down to get where they're going. And you know me, you met me before.
Yeah.
I can move really fast, but people don't know, so they make assumptions.
Wow. And you mentioned the employment issue. We know that there are laws here, but are those being adhered to, or are people meeting the requirements? I think it's for every 100 employees, you need to have at least one person with a disability. Is that right?
There are currently some amendments we are pushing to increase that number. So, with the new appointments, we're pushing more in terms of employment. But the reality is we still have challenges there. We need to make sure I get the training in place.
Right.
We don't ask for handouts and a job just to say you're sitting there. We want jobs for people actually working and feel empowered. So we're trying to make sure our persons are duly qualified.
Yeah. So you're trying to increase it, but are companies even meeting what's required now?
Challenges we had to roll alluded before, we were not fully staffed in the secretary.
Mm-hmm.
As of March 7th, we now have a senior inspector. So whenever we have complaints about accessibility, we now have a person to go and make sure those places are accessible. And as you know, the law allows us to do adjustment orders, German orders, and have persons come before the commission and explain the reason why and ask them to make some changes if possible. Because the reality is some older facilities may not be able to change, but they can change policies and how they deal with persons with disability.
Yeah.
So without the inspector, we had a lot of challenges. We now have an inspector. So we're asking persons to, if there are issues, you go to a job and go for an interview and someone actually discriminates against you because of your disability, please call the commission. Submit a complaint in writing. And this is one of the biggest problems I have with persons in my community. We will talk and chat with each other, but we hate to put anything in writing.
Yeah.
If you make a complaint, we can act on it.
Mm-hmm. We are, I mean, I don't know if the number has increased, but there are a whole lot of people clearly with disabilities who are sadly on the streets and begging. And I do want to say that it looks like it's getting worse, but maybe you know something that I. But what do you make of that, and what's going on?
The pandemic is being probably hardest on persons with disability, and that's probably one of the reasons why you see more of them on the streets. Because remember, most of them don't work. When they had no access to go anywhere, when they did have funds, what we have as a public busing system wasn't on the road for much of the pandemic. You can get around. If you didn't have the extra cash to actually use one of the services online that will deliver your food, so they had real challenges. Even with the government tried to offer some food packages, many of them had no transportation to go and get it. And they had to rely on family members in many cases and their churches. So the challenges got great for us. For example, Mr. Rowe can talk about someone with visual impairment who uses his hands a lot to get around. Imagine how difficult that would have been for him to get around and touch surfaces, which could have led to him getting COVID.
Yeah.
The challenges are really great for persons with disability because we use so many different ways to maneuver, to communicate, and these things can lead to other problems just by its nature.
Yeah, Kendrick, you want to jump in there? How challenging is it?
And Kendrick is a public transportation user, everyday user.
Is Kendrick muted? Oh, wait, did we lose Kendrick? Okay, we need to get back with Kendrick. All right. Yeah, so I can imagine we've got everybody complaining, but we can imagine just how this is. What more can be done? What can we do? What can allies do to help to make this better for people with disabilities in our country?
First thing, I think people need to be mindful that if we have the mindset that persons with disability is not unique, if we understand that you can become disabled tomorrow. And when we speak about accessibility, non-discrimination, and rights of persons with disability, and everyone take that on as a personal, challenge for themselves, and understand that what we are fighting for is not just for us today, but possibly, unfortunately, could be you tomorrow.
Yeah,
could be your child, your unborn child, your current child. So, and just a matter of living, you can, age out, get some disease, illness, and you become a person with disability. So I think we first need to just understand this is not just for the community of persons with disability. Mm-hmm. When we go out there and have town hall meetings, you don't just invite persons with disability, we invite all persons because knowledge is empowering. And the reality is knowing what rights you have as a Bahamian. Only thing you can do is better the person because challenges exist. And we love to say as persons with disabilities that our disabilities don't make us disabled. It's the built environment in front of us that causes us to have challenges. Let me give you remember the issue about sidewalks. Why so many sidewalks? Why government doing this and that? Sidewalks are there to help persons with disability, to keep them safe. And then you have some behemoths who wish to park the cars on those sidewalks to prevent them from getting around. I know you've seen several behemoths who are visually impaired using sidewalks and trying to be independent and moving around the streets. Those things help to protect us, protect our children, and everyone. They're purpose for everything. We may fall down sometime in explaining why these things are being built and used, but there's a reason why. As persons with disability, we wish to be independent. We want to have the job, the dream of the house and the 2.5 kids with the picket fence and the dog. But we can't do it all alone in many cases. We need the public to support us, to help us push and advocate to get those same rights. And we still are able to, within our disabilities, contribute to the Bahamas. Let me give you another example. We just celebrated Special Olympics Bahamas, returning from Orlando about a month ago. And they were successful. Over the years, since I think the 50s, from the first time a Bahamian got an Olympic medal, I think it was Severino. I think our elite athletes have won about 16 medals total. Special Olympics has won more than 16 medals in just one Special Olympics meet in Dubai.
Wow.
Over the last 3 meets they've been to, they have probably won more than 30 medals. And we don't even think twice about honoring them. We think less of them. The first time ever, the Ministry of Social Services had a reception in their honor about a month ago. And I think that kind of helped us to show the country, the world, that we are appreciative of all Bahamians, no matter where they come from and what they do or what challenges they got to fight through. It may not be track and field, which is so exciting and loved by Bahamians, but all athletes should be honored and respected because they make sacrifices to compete and to do these things. And imagine how more challenging it can be for someone with a special needs who have several issues and that require some specialty sometimes and some more work just to get them to that level.
Wow.
We're just asking for a level playing field.
Yeah. Boy. Let's take a few calls. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Are you there? No, let's take the other one. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well.
You know what's so amazing, until you guess what's so amazing, after 49 years of being independent, so-called independent, we still doing a bunch of talking. Why I use the word talking, Dwight, is because I remember back, I think it's 1994 when the radio stations opened up privately. Was it 94?
Yes.
94. I remember back in the day when most of us were just listeners and they started talk shows.
Are you talking about what we're talking about right now, Sparky?
Are y'all talking about getting things done and how we just talk about it but never get it done?
No, not right now. No, we're talking about people with disabilities in the Bahamas. But yes, there is a time to act, definitely. But we'll pick up that conversation at another point. Are we getting Kendrick back? I know okay. We're gonna try to reconnect with him. I know he wanted to talk about something very exciting we saw. About Beep Baseball, where he's going to try to reconnect with us, Kendrick Roll. All right, so I know this is a thing. We the last time we talked, there were still people who just totally disregard the disabled parking spots, and we've heard security guards even complain about how they are cussed out. People are abusive to them when they try to stop people from parking in them. Is that still a big problem? And I see it all the time, so I can imagine it is.
But the good thing is that we are working on those regulations to add more teeth to the legislation, because it hurts me I mean, I think it does many good thinking Bahamians to see the same people who abuse those accessible parking spaces will travel the world and wouldn't dare do the same thing. Or will do that to their countrymen in their own country.
Wow.
So it's one of those things that we originally thought was a low-hanging fruit, but when I got involved with disability and as an advocate, and it was tough enough to get legislation passed, we thought originally that would have been the greatest challenge. But the greatest challenge actually is changing a mindset.
Yeah. And is it still currently not against the law to park there if you're not?
It's against the law, just that the regulations don't have the enforcement written in policy yet. That's what we are trying to do. But it is, the private businesses can actually take it on themselves to actually enforce it also. We ask them to, and some do a great job of doing it, but they can't because it is illegal.
It is. Okay. All right. And let's take another call. Hopefully this will be on the topic today. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, good morning.
Hi. Hello.
Hi, yes. I'm one of those security officers that have issues with persons parking in disabled spots. And the thing about it is most of the persons that give you the problems are government workers, believe it or not.
How do you know that?
Because they come in uniform and then they have on certain, there's a few ladies that comes from the hospital and say, "Oh, I'm only coming here for 2 minutes," I'm at the point where I have to stand in the spot. I almost get knocked down at one point because the persons insist on parking there when I told them the company that I worked for have some disabled persons that comes regularly and needs the spot. They refuse to go any further than near the door. They want to be in the door. Wow. You see, and they give you issue. I've had police officers who parked there, and I begged them to move, and they didn't move. In the police car. In uniform. So I'm one of those officers that fight to keep those spots available because the persons who really need them, they come and they park anywhere. Sometimes I say, "Excuse me, ma'am, come. I have a spot here for you." Because they're not looking for special attention, but the spot is there for them. And for a lot of times they just don't want to be bothered because they know the issues that I guess other people fight. Like they fight for we need to make it where it's literally illegal to park there and then have these persons fined for doing so, like how they do in the States and other places. And until we do that, there's not going to be any respect for the disabled parking.
That is a real tragedy. Wow. I don't know what to say. Well, thank you, though. We appreciate the work that you do.
Dwight, it's not surprising what she just said. We have seen those issues and seen some of the people who we believe knew better who actually utilized those spots. We are trying to sensitize as much persons as possible so that they understand that there's a purpose. So, fortunately, do listen and understand. We got others who just wish to stay the way they are.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So we're not able to reconnect with Kendrick Roll, but we'll have Kendrick back. He can tell us all about it.
I'll talk a bit about some of the things that initiatives that Kendrick is pursuing at this moment.
Yeah, sure.
Doing something that we're calling Camp Inclusion, which is partnering young persons who have disabilities with persons who don't have a disability, so we can try help them from younger, because it's much more difficult to change the mindset of an adult. The older we are, the harder it is to get us to change. But we're trying to work with the younger persons, so we feel if they can interact with persons who have a disability, they may begin to understand and and find some common ground within each other and see that, okay, we are not against each other. We are all in the same fight. We just may have different ways of doing things. So we are working on a Camp Inclusion. We're supposed to begin the second week of August. This will be the first of its kind in the country. And that should begin on August 8th, I believe is the date.
Wonderful. You have people signed up already, or if people are interested?
Sign up. And once this pilot is done, we wish to kind of make this a full 365-day program to because to watch them develop and help others grow within the same space and understand each other.
Excellent.
We want to help change that mindset. And you mentioned the beat ball. Beat ball is a baseball softball game which uses a ball that actually beeps. And the reason why it beeps because this game is geared towards persons who are blind and visually impaired, so they can actually listen to the ball beeping and get a baseball bat and swing at it. Some are successful at it, and also what beat ball will help to show the Bahamas is that persons with disability are capable of many amazing things.
Yeah.
As a kid, when I used to go to Shriners Hospital in Chicago, we used to play basketball and wheelchair. And you have rugby. Rugby is a tough sport. Leagues in Britain, the persons in wheelchair users. So imagine persons in a wheelchair playing rugby.
Wow.
We don't have programs here yet where persons with disability can participate in the general sports that we tend to see other persons do, but we wish to bring those things to light and help the people to understand we just like them. Just extra challenges. That's it.
Amazing. And how can people learn more about the baseball and where and when to see it and to participate? What do we need to do?
You can reach out to myself. You can call me at 397-8646. That's the Secretary's office. And I can put you in contact with Mr. Roll. I don't have his number with me right now. But you also can call Disability Affairs Division, where he works. So once you reach out to me, though, I can put you in contact with Mr. Roll. He has many initiatives that he's planning to do over the next year. So you'll hear a lot more from us, especially when he comes on your show quarterly. You'll find out what's new on the planning board. We are actively doing some fundraisers to help support these initiatives because we want to make sure, again, you remember, many of these persons with disabilities are not employed, and many of their parents have challenges because of the fact that some disabilities require some extra funds to spend on medication, on adaptive equipment. So we try to include them, but minimize the cost to any families, be it the able-bodied children or a disabled person.
Excellent stuff. So good to talk with you again, Townsley Roberts, Deputy Secretary with the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities Secretariat. And Kendrick Roll, we'll reconnect with Kendrick soon, but he's with the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities and Disability Affairs. Again, we look forward to talking with you again soon. Thank you so much, and keep up the great work that you're doing.
Good day, Bahamas.
All right. Dawn, I know you have to run. Thanks so much for being here. We're going to take a break for news headlines. When we come back, Morning Blend Business, we're talking with the Central Bank of the Bahamas. A lot of exciting things going on there as well. Stay with us. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
I really love my island culture. I am Bahamian to the core. 700 islands to explore.
One thing there's no debate about is that BTC has the best rates. Now, the best rates just got better because you pay half the price of the other guys with your BTC home internet and mobile services combined. Switching to BTC is a no-brainer because I pay less with BTC and get super fast internet with speeds up to 600 megs. The other guys, their internet only go up to 105 megs.
Get all the internet you want at half the price when you bundle your home internet and mobile. Visit a BTC store to make the switch today. Conditions apply.
We're good for you.
We know how important collecting your money can be to the success of your business. Start your relationship with Fidelity today so that we can show you the many options available to you with our merchant services. From click and pay options online to merchant terminals and e-commerce options. We're here to help your business succeed. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit any of our branches.
Hello? Keisha, you something else, boy.
Who this is? Tamika?
You don't even remember my name? Wow, Dread.
Girl, I've been so busy. You still planning your trip?
Girl, and I can't wait. I right here online booking my car.
You dare planning trip. You vaccinated?
Girl, we had to. We ain't been nowhere since this pandemic started. Girl, and we got a 14-day vacation.
Best vacation ever.
Girl, are you though?
Well, I know you was gonna get the vaccine because you too like travel. When y'all get your vaccine?
Girl, long time. Because you gotta get your first dose, wait, then get your second dose at least 2 weeks before you travel. Johnny get his vaccine and he 12. Even Grammy get hers. Child, and Grammy say she ain't get no money. But I see her hiding that under the mattress.
Child, let me send my list, because I know you going shopping.
Keisha, don't play with me.
Vaccinate today, live tomorrow. A message by PAHO WHO, Canada, and USAID.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
The views and opinions of the host and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Tuesday, July 19th, 2022. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. This morning we are getting an update on Sand Dollar from the central bank. There's a lot of exciting initiatives coming as part of this. Here to give us an update and tell us all about it. Very pleased to welcome from the central bank, Sand Dollar Communications, Allison Middleton, and Senior Officer with the Sand Dollar Adoption Unit, Dominique Butler. Ladies, good to have you with us. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
All right, so we have so many questions about Sand Dollar, and clearly we're going to be talking about an upcoming regatta too, so that's a hint, I suspect, of what's coming.
Very excited.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. All right, for those who have been under a rock, though, let people know what Sand Dollar is all about.
So
Allison.
simply put, Sand Dollar is just a digital version of the Bahamian dollar.
Mm-hmm.
So the same cash that's in your pocket, if you look at it, it has the Central Bank of the Bahamas stamped on it. We are the monetary authority of the country, the only organization that is by law permitted to issue legal tender.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we've done is just taken that and made a digital version of it to really assist with our financial inclusion commitments. And for those who would not know what that means, we have a responsibility as the central bank to ensure that everyone has equal access to financial services throughout the country. And we know we have a very wide country. We have 700 islands that span over thousands of miles of ocean, or hundreds of miles of ocean.
Plenty miles.
Plenty
Yeah,
ocean,
yeah.
right? And so if we don't have to be restricted to having the physical cash, the thought process is that of course, then we can offer financial services throughout the length and breadth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So now this is very different from what we were talking about on the show yesterday. We were getting into NFTs and digital assets, and Bitcoin came up. Sand dollar is not like Bitcoin.
No, sand dollar is not a cryptocurrency. The rate doesn't fluctuate. This does not present an investment opportunity. It is equal in every way to the Bahamian dollar. So if the Bahamian dollar trading rate goes up, the sand dollar goes up as well because it is the Bahamian dollar.
Right.
Just a digital version.
No risk there.
No.
Well, as much as the Bahamian dollar is.
No risk.
No risk. No risk.
No risk.
Right. All right. So now adoption. This has been how many years now? This is more than a year. This is.
Yeah. So we started the pilot December 2019. We started the Abaco pilot that February, and then 2 weeks later, we went into COVID lockdown. And so what we did during that time was to really map out some things that we had gotten, some of the information we got back from the pilot, and really improve the technology. And then we did what we called a gradual rollout, which was the first, which made us the very first digital currency retail issued in the entire world.
Yeah, and you got a lot of awards and attention for that.
Certainly did.
Yeah.
And we just continued building upon that, ensuring that our partners, our digital wallet providers, had the support they needed, that their technology was able to integrate fully with the sand dollar. And now we identified last year that we really needed to have a focus on adoption. And so we have engaged a 4-person adoption unit. Wow. They are very, very, very well educated, and
I like
Dominic's blushing.
Yeah.
That's great.
Very well educated. They have a lot of experience. Sand dollar, of course, is new for them. So there's a slight bit of learning there. It would be for anyone. But we are very happy to have them on. They are dedicated to really and truly pushing the education, the enrollments, and the usage in the country.
Yeah. Dominique, let's talk about that. When I guess you're meeting people, and what's the reaction you're getting? Are people understanding what sand dollar is and how they can use it and how it can benefit them?
So initially, some persons are not as fully aware about what sand dollar really is, but once you start to explain it to them, they get very excited. When we spoke to the vendors for the Roll Bill Regatta, as we'll be talking about soon, we had the vendors, when we first met them, they were like, oh, well, we don't understand. And about 5 minutes in, they were super, super, super excited. Everybody wanted to understand, how they could really get involved and how they could have it at their booths. So the reaction has been really, 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 positive to it. Once people get an understanding of what it really is. Yeah.
All right, so we'll get to the regatta in just a bit. So where is sand dollar accepted now? I mean, do you have a listing? I know the supermarkets are accepting it, and that's a big thing.
So we have... So our digital wallet providers generally tell us that everywhere they are accepted, sand dollar is accepted. And so
and we can let people know what that is if they don't know.
Those digital wallet providers are Canoe, Omni, SunCash, Island Pay, Mobile Assist, Cash and Go, and MoneyMax. We have another 2 that we've already announced. However, they're not engaging the public as yet, and we are very excited that they will be engaging the public, fingers and toes crossed, in around September.
Okay.
But what we found, what Dominique those have found as well, is that there might be some confusion as to I go and I say I want to pay in sand dollar. They don't necessarily know that they accept it, but there would be a sticker from one of those merchants up in the store.
Okay.
And so it is, understandably, it
Confusion on whose part? The cashiers or who are we talking about?
Confusion on, I guess, both parts, because if I know that if I see a sticker from one of the digital wallet providers and that I want to pay in Sand Dollar, I will say that I want to pay in Sand Dollar. And if there is some confusion on the part of the cashier, then I will say, will you accept this digital wallet provider? Through the Sand Dollar method, I can pay with them. So it's just a bit of education. We are in very good contact with and constant with these digital wallet providers. And they are aware, they've acknowledged it as well. But
So who's going to handle is it central bank to handle the education? Is it everybody? Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So we have a major part to play, really to get the message out there that once you have, I often say you have one, you have all, right? So that it is a digital currency, it's not a separate wallet. And just like you don't care whether your Visa card was issued at Bank of the Bahamas or Scotiabank, as long as the Visa card is accepted.
Right.
So that is the message as we proceed that we will be pushing.
All right. So the big sleeping elephant in the room, though, is when will the government start paying people in Sand Dollar?
So the government remains committed to the Sand Dollar project. I think that we made a presentation to them sometime in March. And there continues to be dialogue as to exactly how and their timelines, because, of course, they do have other commitments. And so I would respectfully leave that answer to someone in the Ministry of Finance.
Right.
But we are ready whenever they are.
Yeah. I mean, at least to the people who do part-time work or just temporary work for them, though, it seems like that would be a no-brainer. But you don't want to comment on that. All right. So, what about other employers? Are they reaching out? Are they interested? Are you reaching out to them to see if they can pay? Maybe again, people, summer students or something like that, in Sand Dollar, as opposed to writing checks or paying through the bank. Is that on the table?
So we get from the time of the pandemic, we had a lot of interest from Abaconians, construction, construction workers and those in the construction field that really wanted to pay in Sand Dollar rather than having all of that cash. It poses a risk to them.
Definitely.
We've gotten fielded calls from Eleuthera from individuals that want to pay in Sand Dollar. And so I would say that it's mainly from the islands, the families of islands. And of course, they have a concern about access to banking.
Oh, yes.
And so that's where you would find that most of it is coming from, more so than from New Providence, where we have these things in place already.
Yeah. So what happens once they express interest in it? I mean, have you formalized the agreements? And we can make this happen.
So unfortunately, we can't make it happen because we are the central bank. And just as you would not come to us directly for payroll services using traditional fiat currency, which is paper and coins, you can't come directly to us. But what we will do is we have a list of the digital wallet providers that do provide that service, and we certainly turn them over to those to set them up.
Yeah, and do you know whether that's happened? That's happened, or you don't know?
I believe that it has in some instances, and what I will say is that as we have the adoption unit, we have at least one or two persons that are dedicated to AFI relations. And so we will certainly ensure that the digital wallet providers, or AFIs, some of us that still use the old lingo before the adoption unit came into being.
She saw me looking at her.
Yes. I tend to slip back into that. But AFI is authorized financial institution. It's also a digital wallet provider. We use them synonymously.
Okay.
But we have some dedicated team members that will certainly be ensuring that when we send a referral, that it is followed through.
All right. We got this tweet here, and this is a big problem, I suspect, right? Somebody's saying, government better pay me in straight cash, homie. Still ain't trusting that cryptocurrency. You just said it wasn't cryptocurrency.
Just said it wasn't cryptocurrency.
But that is, what do you do when you encounter someone like that?
I mean, so the whole point of the adoption unit is to create, an education program around Sand Dollar. And so things such as us partnering up with the Rollville Regatta, that's a chance for us to educate the community on really what Sand Dollar is and give them an opportunity to be hands-on with the actual digital dollar. So it's just a matter of education,
Yeah.
Slowly but surely.
All right, you keep talking about the regatta. So
Yes,
clearly this is big. Let's get right
It's
into
the meat
it.
of it.
So all right, so what's happening here? This is what there's no
So-
cash at the regatta. It's all Sand Dollar.
No, you can still use cash, but we are imploring you to get your Sand Dollar wallets before you go down to Exuma and load them up.
Wow.
So the Sand Dollar team will be in full force at the Rollville Regatta. Central Bank has come on board as a platinum sponsor for, yes, we the big boys. Platinum
Central
sponsor.
Bank at the regatta.
Under the Sand Dollar branding. And so a key point for us was to ensure that a significant portion of the sponsorship went into the hands of the vendors at the regatta site. And so vendors will actually be accepting Sand Dollar.
Wow.
We had a meeting with them the other night and they were so excited about it. Everybody now has Sand Dollar on their phone and they're ready to go. So we're asking everyone to get your Sand Dollar wallets before you come down to Exuma and load them up. And if not, we have, like Allison said, we'll have digital wallet providers on site for you to get you set up and
That's pretty
ready.
cool.
And so you can use it. And the most exciting part about this is we'll be giving away cash. Well, prizes and surprises. That's what we'll call it. Sand Dollar.
Wow.
So
all right, so I don't want to call it anybody, but there are festivals where they have their own currency, right? So are we talking about in the future that won't be necessary anymore? We just use Sand Dollars?
Yes.
Yeah?
fingers
It isn't
crossed.
necessary now.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a big thing, for the vendors, especially if they
I
don't
have
want to
that,
have
I
to
have that
worry
old
about
currency
cash flow.
festival buck still in my wallet from years ago. But anyway, that's another story. But yeah, so this is where we're going.
Yeah. So a big thing for us was, getting the vendors to understand what Sand Dollar is, but also letting them see the advantages. So like, for example, if you're a vendor there, you may have a few people working for you. You don't have to worry about cash
Right.
and all of that. You just pay in Sand Dollar the exact amount.
Yeah.
So we're very excited. We'll be there from Thursday, the 28th of July to Monday, August 1st. So that's the August Monday holiday weekend.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so
That's
we're
where
very
the regatta
excited.
is?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good time to go. That is a good time to go.
Are you coming down?
I may have to do that.
Come-
But
Okay. Come and
I
get
don't
your
have anything to do that
giveaway.
weekend. Yeah. Wait, are you going to tell us what those are?
No, not yet.
But know that there are giveaways.
Yes. And if you want more information, you can find out more at sanddollar.bs. But come out to the site, meet the Sand Dollar Adoption Unit. The whole team will be there. And just get to know more about the digital currency,
Yeah.
the new digital currency.
Okay, so here is a good question. Don't you need electricity and the internet to use it?
Well,
So,
Allison?
yes, we do. And one thing that we were tasked with or challenged with very early on was that we know data might not be as reliable throughout the entire country. And so we had to come up with a solution for that. That is still something that we are ensuring that we have in place. But at the regatta site, and I want to say for New Providence, more so, just jumping onto a hotspot and setting hotspots up is something that works. We are also speaking to some of the communications companies to hopefully zero rate the Sand Dollar enabled wallets.
Oh.
And so if you don't have data, it works. So these are things that we, as I said, during COVID, we went down, but these are things that we
Yeah.
tried to address.
How open did they seem to that?
One is much more open than the other. But
I want to ask you which one.
And I'm not going to say.
Oh my! I mean, if you let them know that they could get paid in the sand dollar, whether the person has data or not.
Honestly, Dwight, I think that if we tend to, as we tend to advance this and people start to use it more, and there's a greater understanding, I think that the public will also demand some of these things, and so I'm pretty confident that we will get there. So yes, it needs electricity. Most phones are charged. One thing we know for sure is that, especially now, you hardly find anyone now walking with their charger to plug in their phones. And Sand Dollar is mobile phone based, and this is an appendage now, and we make sure that it's always powered up.
Yeah. All right. So another question about that, people asking about that, concerned about that issue, and with some of the challenges we've been seeing with internet in the country in the last year or so, but hopefully
So
things will be
outside
better.
of the zero rating, as I said, we are working with our technology partner to identify because we had a solution that we had considered, but coming out of the pilot, perhaps that wasn't the best method or the best approach, and so we are continuing that dialogue.
Yeah. All right. So somebody's asking, what's the difference between Sand Dollar and my debit card? Well, anyway, I'll let you answer it already. Okay.
Well, you can answer it if you will.
Well, I mean, you don't need to have a card machine, right? Everywhere you go, they tell you that, the machine isn't working.
So that's one big difference between it. I always say to individuals that will say, I have a debit card, I have a credit card, I don't need to get Sand Dollar. And I tend to remind them that Sand Dollar was really that wasn't our principal reason for developing it. It was for those that do not have access to banking
and it's
services.
a lot of people.
Now, for those of us that do have debit and credit cards and use them religiously, like I do, and Dominique can tell you, in our travels, I've gotten stuck and I have no cash at all because the debit and credit, the machine is down, right?
Especially if the electricity was just off. That's
or
the common
a
excuse.
lightning struck the building,
right? Or the building down the street, and so it's always an excuse.
But one benefit for the merchants is that it's immediate settlement. You don't have to wait for the cash to appear on your wallet. You see it immediately, and again, it is a digital version of cash. So any issues that you have, you use a debit and credit card because you don't want to carry cash, generally. You also have lower income merchants that are able to get into the payment space because they don't have to put up that initial investment that is required for a debit and credit card. And the fees are expected to be lower, again, for merchants for other than use of a debit and credit card.
Right.
And so, yes, the benefits are more on the merchant side, but for me, I have a confidence, and I think Dominique can speak as well about it, that when I use the Sand Dollar wallet, I don't use my debit card at all because I'm always afraid it's going to get hit, by some nefarious person. So I only use my credit card. But with Sand Dollar, I really don't. I feel a lot safer with it because of all the security features that are in place that I am well aware of. That's there.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Dominique, people
It's
expressing.
very, very safe. And that's a biggie for me also, like Allison said, knowing that transactions, you can view all the transactions in instant time. And also, like she said, less risk of fraud.
Right.
So,
Yeah. those
with
are good
everything
reasons.
going on now, I'm sure fraud is a big issue here in the Bahamas, and we want to make sure that we can tackle that.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So, is there a place? I know you said that wherever the providers are located, wherever they're accepted, that's where Sand Dollar will be accepted as well. But is there a place we can see a listing just to be sure?
So we're updating our website currently, and as we update that website, we will have a listing by island, so everyone will know. But I can give you a few that I frequent regularly.
All right. So this is a mini ad, but
Very,
that's
very
okay.
mini.
And we can
That's-
give maybe one or two in Exuma for when they go down for regatta.
Yeah, why
Yeah,
don't we
that'd
just
be-
do that?
Yeah.
We'll
Okay.
just give one or
Because
two in
we
Exuma.
want
I do want to hear about the
stuff when
places
you
you
go
go
down
out.
there.
I still want to hear that. But yeah,
Okay.
let's do the Exuma one. Yeah.
So Smithy's is one.
Uh-huh.
There's Smithy's, the grocery store, and next door is the liquor store. So you can get your groceries and then your liquor for
That's
regatta
all you
night.
need to have a great weekend.
Exactly. Where else?
And they accept Sand Dollar now.
They accept
They
Sand
always
Dollar.
have. Okay.
Yes.
All right, wow.
Yeah. So that's
pretty
a
good.
big one for us
Mhm.
in Exuma.
And then there's some other smaller stores in Exuma that accept some of the fish fry vendors. We have we've been told will definitely be, because they were set up previously, and then with COVID, they may not remember. So the AFIs are going back down and will be on the digital wallet providers.
I appreciate you remembering.
Will be going down, will be on the ground between this weekend and Regatta Week, just to make sure that they are. So some Sand Dollar stickers, Sand Dollar accepted here stickers are up.
You see it on the door.
Now for me, I shop, and for central bankers, we some of us, not all of us, but some of us, we will walk into somewhere that we know accepts Sand Dollar, and we will say, well, I'm only going to pay you in Sand Dollar.
Right.
So figure it out.
Like me.
Right?
Like me.
And what's the reaction when you do that?
No. That's just
It's just a way of, it's adoption.
It isn't. We're not telling them to figure it
Right?
out. Honestly, we're not.
But they're like, yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and in
Okay.
some
You use it.
cases, you tell them, call. This is who you signed up with, because we can see
Yeah.
the sticker. Call them on the phone. They'll help you. They'll walk you through it, and it works. So we had a great experience with one of my colleagues at Comfort Smiles, the dental clinic, and he's tickled pink that he can pay in Sand Dollar. There's another, there's a barber. I believe it's Impressive Cuts, and he is so Sand Dollar. He is such a Sand Dollar advocate that he tells his patrons, I want to only accept this.
Right.
Please go and get a wallet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I really see this being a great benefit for people who do just temporary work for you. You have an electrician come to your house. They tell you what they're going to charge you. I only have $10 on me. You have to follow me to the ATM. This is foolishness, right?
It is.
So this would be so beneficial in that way.
And then you have someone like me that is very uncomfortable giving out my banking information.
Yeah.
Because for all of these decades, I've been told, don't give your banking information. And now, everybody's giving their banking information.
Everybody's asking.
And it's safe. But mentally, I haven't made the adjustment. So I would be the person who is going to say, I will follow you to the ATM to get this money.
Right, yeah. And I was just thinking, pizza, you know how many times they've come with the...
Yep.
And it doesn't work? Like, I have to go back to get another one.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Or even being able
half
to
an
tip
hour.
someone in Sand Dollar.
Yes.
That's a biggie, you know?
Yeah. So there's many benefits there. All right, so somebody's asking about the fees. Fees, you mentioned it a little bit earlier, but fees for the consumers as opposed to the digital wallet providers.
So if it's person to person, there should be no fees. But what I would say is that we tend to not get too involved in that, just like we don't set the fees for the banks. We don't set the fees for any Sand Dollar enabled digital wallet provider. We
So
have
shop
just-
around, basically. to
Yeah,
see
but we
what
have
it is.
just asked from the onset that the fees, just consider, be very considerate.
Yeah.
of the fees that are being assessed.
All right, so we're going to only have a couple more minutes left. Remind us again about Rollville Regatta,
Right.
what's going to be happening.
So the full Sand Dollar team will be at the Rollville Regatta. That's happening from July 28th to Monday, August 1st. So the August Monday holiday weekend. And we will be doing giveaways and prizes there. We'll be there the whole weekend. We're asking people to get their Sand Dollar wallets enabled before they come down to Exuma. And if you can't, and if you just want someone to help you understand how to use it, there will be digital wallet providers on site to assist you along with the Sand Dollar adoption team.
Yeah.
We're making sure that you can pay for your food and any drinks in Sand Dollar. All you have to simply do is scan a barcode. We'll have a cute little barcode set up on the vendor stall. So all you have to do is scan it and show them the transaction trail, and you're good to go.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're excited.
We in the digital age.
This is
We are.
This feels so forward.
very sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yes. And if it goes well, as it shall, in Exuma,
Yeah.
I think that New Providence can look forward to seeing something similar. Then they will have the option of really touching Sand Dollar. What we have found is that the first time someone actually does it or see it, you can see it in their face. It's just like, wow. As quick as that, that's it. As simple as that. And so as much as possible now, we're at this phase in this project where we have to get it out to the masses.
Yeah, amazing. There are a lot of festivals coming back right here in New Providence for the fall. And,
Yes.
this would be a great thing there.
Festival season.
Yeah. So looking forward to it. Good luck. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And high tech as well. And it's been great talking to you both. Allison Middleton, I've talked to you many times. First time seeing you in person after all these years. And Dominique Butler, great to have you with us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dwight.
All right. We're going to take a break and be back. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Sign your basketball teams up today for the Michael Scooter Reed Peace on the Streets Basketball Classic, August 1st through the 7th at the Hope Center. Get ready for the pastors versus politicians, along with the Phil Lightburn Slam Dunk Contest, then Energy 3-point shootout, along with all championship games, live in living color at the Kendall G. Liza Gymnasium, Sunday, August 7th, beginning at 5 p.m. That's the Michael Scooter Reed Peace on the Street Basketball Classic. For more information, contact 601-4842.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Parents, it's that sweet time of year again.
What are you talking about? Any Christmas yet?
The kids are going back to school, so pick up your copy of the Nassau Guardian's Back to School Supplement, cause
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
put your students in the latest styles at the lowest prices, because summer break is almost over, and our Back to School Supplement is filled with brand name back to school supplies at discounted prices, store locations, hours, and contact details.
It's the happiest season of all.
Advertisers, call the Nassau Guardian today at 302-2300 or call your account executive to get in on the 2-for-1 insertion deal. If it's uniforms, shoes, books, backpacks, calculators, art supplies, laptops, tablets, or whatever is on your back-to-school supply list, your ad should be in the Nassau Guardian's Back to School Supplement.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
The Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center is here to help small businesses throughout the entire Bahamas. To better serve you, we've made it easier to contact us. Call 461-7232, WhatsApp 359-0626 or 359-2394, email helpdesk@spdcbahamas.com, or submit a ticket when you visit our help center at accessaccelerator.org. the Access Accelerator, empowering small business.
I used to think of the bank as my personal ATM machine. If I wanted a new car, new furniture, a weekend trip to Miami, no problem. Just max out the credit card or top up my loan. I was a big baller until I realized that 75% of my salary was going to pay back all those loans. Fidelity's personal financial coaching was the best solution. Fidelity gave me a plan with a debt consolidation loan that has a built-in savings that pays 5% interest. I now only have one low monthly payment plus money in my pocket. Give Fidelity Bank a call at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit any of Fidelity's locations or visit a website at fidelitygroup.com.
Wise Guy Entertainment and the Beam Agency, in association with Tropical Gyros, presents the 15th annual Laugh Fest. Laugh now, cry later. Live at Fusion Superplex. Starring your headliner, fresh off tour with D.L. Hughley and backed by popular man, Bodacious. Get ready for your feature comedian, Cisco Duran.
I'll tell you right now, that's what fat people do, okay? Fat people look at other fat people and we judge each other, all right? I saw the way you looked at me when I got on stage. Like, you looked at me, it was like, oh my God. Hey, baby, I'm not that fat, right? Jesus Christ.
And get ready for some of the 242's funniest comedians, Das Quay, BJ, and Shad Fur. All hosted by the Bahamian King of Comedy, Naughty. 2 big shows, Friday, July 29th and Saturday, July 30th at Fusion Superplex. General admission, $40. Limited VIP, $60. Tickets go on sale Monday, July 18th at Fusion Superplex. Laugh Fest 2022, brought to you by the Platinum sponsors, Fine Threads, John Shoes, and KFC Nassau.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
It is time for your morning business report, brought to you by CFAL. Investment fund assets grew to $50 billion in value during 2021, despite a net decrease in funds during the year. That's according to the Securities Commission of the Bahamas annual report for 2021. It's a slight 0.6% increase from the previous year, but shows sustained growth. According to the report, the Commission licenses investment funds in the Bahamas that invest in numerous underlying investments such as private equity, stocks, fixed income, real estate, ETFs, that's exchange-traded funds, derivatives, and cryptocurrency in various structures, including hedge funds, fund of funds, and feeder funds. Total net asset value by all investment fund administrators at December 31st of last year was $50 billion compared to $49.8 billion for the period ending December 2020. It says that in 2021, 77 investment funds were approved and licensed. Of those, the Commission licensed 9 and 68 were licensed by unrestricted investment fund administrators and filed with the Commission. Read more on this in today's Guardian Business section. Although the Utilities Regulation and Competition Authority has concluded that competition in the mobile market has developed to a point where certain measures applicable to BTC's retail mobile activities are no longer appropriate, there still remains concerns for potential lessening of competition. IRCA detailed its decision to remove requirements for BTC to seek approval to conduct certain business practices effective July 30th, following a retail cellular mobile market review and assessment, which found that BTC no longer holds the upper hand in the industry. It's the first review of the mobile market since mobile liberalization and since Alive entered the market in 2016. IRCA's final determination concludes that neither of the two mobile network operators, BTC and Alive, hold a dominant position in the market, and as such, IRCA determined that certain regulatory rules put in place in 2016 meant to prevent abuse by the identified significant market power are no longer relevant, as a newcomer has captured significant market share in the past 6 years. You can read more about this in today's Guardian Business section. And Bahamas Mineral and Manufacturing Corporation Limited plans to break into the PVC pipe supply chain when its pipe manufacturing facility opens in Freeport by the first quarter of next year. That's according to the company's president and CEO, Mitchell Thurston. Thurston, speaking during a press conference announcing the company, explaining yesterday that it's focused on keeping the money spent on PVC, which is 100% imported, keeping that in the country. He says that the idea grew out of the pandemic and continued cries of Bahamians who contended that something had to be done to grow the economy. In your Market Watch recapping trading on the BISX from Monday, your market movers, Bank of the Bahamas moving 3,000 shares, closing unchanged at 251. Commonwealth Brewery moving 180 shares, unchanged at 933. Focall moving 1,000, up 6 cents to 390. Consolidated Water up 5 cents, closing at 285. Emira Incorporated down 11 cents, closing at 1144. The BISX All Share Index closing at 2,602.37, up 2.68. That's your Market Watch. And that is your morning business report, brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. And that is going to do it for us today for Morning Blend Business. We are out of time. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more right here. Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business. Have a great day, everybody. Dwight Strachan. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.